welcome to the Dojo Talk Podcast. Please remove them shoes before entry. Sam Master is here, and you still have not taken off your shoes.
Yeah. Living every day to define man's mission. Look into the sky for divine transmission. Deaf man's vision makes the blind man listen. Eyes on the prize, this is blind ambition. Thank you.
Welcome to another edition of the Dojo Talk Podcast. We are on episode number 80. It is April 8th. I think we're all really tired, so I want to thank everybody for showing up. I know we're all half dead, but we're here. we got a lot, just a ton to cover. But real quick, before we get into all that, quick plugs. Podcast can be listened to on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes. If you're on iTunes, please rate and subscribe. Questions can be emailed to dojotalkpodcast@yahoo.com, and you can hit us up on Facebook. Just type in Dojo Talk Podcast in your search bar, and you can find us there as well. And with that out the way, I'm joined by my co-hosts and returning guests / friends / roommates of the show. We got Anti-Cool, Joey from the Sports.
WrestleMania Day.
There we go. I'm actually gonna watch that later, and I have not watched wrestling in a very long time. But got the Anti-Cool, Joey from the Sports Sound Off, Stoges, poor Stoges, who had to wake up at like 3 a.m. because he's in California. Helping us do the Well. I guess I was gonna ask how everybody's doing, but how are we all feeling this early morning?
Numb.
Tired.
Reconsidering life choices about what I follow as a sport.
This isn't a sport. It's a fun thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So for the listeners, saying a lot happened between now and the last time we recorded would be an understatement. So we can't really spend a lot of time on fight news. So we're gonna breeze through these really quick. Just quick fights and nuggets of things that happened that we will not elaborate on. Upcoming good fights to look out for. Leon Edwards finally gets his, kind of big fight he's been looking for. He will be taking on Donald Cerrone. The other Cowboy Oliveira, stepping in for Matt Brown. He will be fighting Carlos Condit. CM Punk makes his return, fighting Mike Jackson. Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw will be rematching at UFC 227. Gokhan Saki's coming back at UFC 226. Opponent yet to be named. And poor Ben Rothwell, suspended from USADA, will not be returning until next year. Something like that.
February 6, 2019.
There we go. So that all happened.
Well, just one last fight that I just saw. Elimelech Farland versus Alejandro Lara, Bellator 201.
There we go. And real quick, because we probably won't get a chance to go into it in much detail, Bellator, what event was this? 196?
Yeah.
Went down this weekend. So I'll give some quick shout outs. I pretty much watched all this card. Main event, Bendo versus Roger Huerta. Did all of y'all catch this? I know me and Stokes watched. Pretty sure.
I fell asleep.
I saw the main event. That's about it.
I guess just quick notes. It was. For one, I'm happy Bendo got the win. His Bellator run has been kind of hard to watch as of late, but he got the win. More importantly, he got a finish. And you can say, albeit it was against Roger Huerta, but hey, man, a win is a win. He actually looked aggressive, which we haven't seen from him in a while. Like he was pushing the pace of the fight rather than kind of just waiting for things to happen. Goes for the guillotine, gets the finish. So that was awesome to see. Adam Borix got a brilliant flying knee against Theodore Nikolov. Adam Borix was supposed to have fought James Gallagher. And no disrespect to James Gallagher, but you dodged a bullet, my friend. Because I think Borix might have, got you out of there. But hopefully that fight will get rescheduled because I still do want to see it. But Borix was awesome. Denise Kielholtz got a unanimous decision over Petra Kaskova. Brian Moore wins via guillotine choke over Giorgio Belisante. And everybody's favorite Bellator prospect, Ed Ruth, got a unanimous decision over Ion Pasco, who looked like he separated Ed Ruth by 3 weight classes. But Ed Ruth got the W nonetheless. So, and were there any boxing fights? Anything else I'm missing real quick?
I mean, we had Jared Hurd takes a unanimous decision over Aristotle Lara. In the rematch, James DeGale, was it?
Yes.
Beat Caleb Truex. And then last week, I don't think we talked. We didn't record last week. So Anthony Joshua took a decision over Joseph Parker.
Quick thoughts. How did y'all feel about that fight? If you watched it,
that referee deserves to never referee another fight ever again.
He was so against the action.
He's like, how dare you punch each other?
I actually I thought Parker was doing pretty good in that fight. I think he could have stole that fight had a few rounds I think went his way, but
had he been allowed to fight on the inside?
Yeah, the referee had other plans and ideas.
Nothing like a pacifist referee for a heavyweight title fight.
But that happened. And real quick, before we get into, I don't even know what to call this, but anybody, if you're listening to this podcast and you're anywhere near the Baltimore area, April 14th at the Royal Farms Arena in Baltimore, Maryland, they will be having Shogun Fights number. You know what? I don't know what this Roman numeral is. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all.
Well, who uses those anyways? This ain't the Super Bowl.
But if you know anything about the Maryland MMA community, I'm pretty sure you know what Shogun Fights is. You should know. They will be holding an event April 14th at the Royal Farms Arena. I will be in attendance. This will be my first time getting to see an MMA fight in person. My friend Scott Noble, who just fought at CFFC about 2 weeks ago, is having a real quick turnaround. He will be fighting Matt. Lord, this last name's killing me. Matt Semselberger. I'm probably butchering your name. No disrespect, but he will be fighting at that event, so I will definitely be down there to support. Tickets can be, I believe, purchased online, but I got my tickets other places because I know people that know people. So go me. But if you guys want to go to that event, just go to shogunfights.com. You can just go to the event section, click on that, and you can purchase your tickets. And it should be a good time. And I think also that same night, the Baltimore Light, it's probably not called the Baltimore Light Festival. Whatever that little festival is downtown, where they light off all the lights downtown and the whole city looks neon green. That'll be going down, so it'll be a good time. And I'll be there. So there's that. Now, where do we even... How do we kick this off? What do we even talk about? Do we talk about the 20
the way
fight?
Back to April Fool's Day. And
Okay. You want to? I thought I had a lead in, but we can go with that.
Oh, because April Fool's Day lasted a whole week.
It does. It does feel that way now, doesn't it? April Fool's Day, week, month, year.
Oh man.
So, as you all know, last night we were supposed to have, or this past Saturday we were supposed to have Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Tony Ferguson. But it turned out on Easter Sunday, April Fool's Day, April 1st, the UFC dropped a bombshell that Tony Ferguson had gotten hurt. Not doing any of the crazy shit he does in training, but tripping over a wire in a studio while doing media.
Aren't the grip guys supposed to keep control of the cords? Like I've been on a set before. Like,
I mean,
you're supposed to make sure none of those are sticking out. You know.
This
Cause
is
trouble.
MMA. He probably tripped over a cord that was firmly planted in the ground. Just somehow. You know what? I take responsibility because the last thing I wrote before that fight broke was MMA gives us we take a lot of shit from MMA. The least they can do is give us this fight. And then I want to say an hour later, it was like, well, it's canceled. So it's on me, guys. I apologize.
So when it broke, did anybody believe it? Because I was in firm denial for 24 hours.
I believed it because you have to believe it with this sport. You have to, like, you know.
I believed it because it's happened 3 times already.
Yeah, I mean, even if it didn't, even if these guys had never, like, of course it was going to fall apart. Of course it was going to fall apart. Like,
Right.
you kidding me?
Also,
You can't have
like,
anything nice.
I don't think Dana White would go and record a video being like, hey, Tony Ferguson is not going to fight on our fight card next Saturday because he's hurt. Because that's just garbage marketing.
I distrust Dana so much that I didn't even believe a word. Because I don't believe Dana on any day of the year. You want me to believe him on April Fool's? No.
Exactly.
I can totally get that, but it's like, this is something that we all wanted, so of course we didn't. It's like Christmas, you wait it's literally like, this sport is like waiting for Christmas, and then you open it up and it's like an IOU. Or like you open it up and they got you a puppy but they didn't put any holes so the dog's dead. Like this is the sport of extreme sadness.
I just like to point out because we forgot to mention it, but Canelo and Golovkin was canceled.
I
man.
was literally gonna say that. Like in any other week,
tainted beef or whatever.
In any other week, that wasn't even the story of the day because I think Brock coming back was broken the same day. So it wasn't even the story for 6 hours.
Oh God.
Jesus
but okay, to replace Tony Ferguson against Khabib, on 6 days' notice, after only returning to training for like 2 weeks after spraining his ankle back in January, February, we had UFC featherweight champion Max Holloway moving up to fight Khabib. But if you're hearing this, you know that didn't happen either.
And even he wasn't the first choice.
They first wanted, I think, Eddie Alvarez.
Yep.
And I think Alvarez said no.
Yep.
Oh, Eddie, I'm disappointed in you.
I mean, can you really blame him?
I think he partially said he couldn't make the weight, which is understandable, but obviously understandable now.
I mean,
and then
if we're being real, everything that happened this week was Connor's fault.
Very true. Very true.
We will get to that.
Connor laid down the cable. Connor laid down the
that
cable.
would actually no, hold on. He sent Cathal Pendred with like a pulled down hat.
There's some random guy on set with a trench coat.
Yeah. Big shades. No, Cathal Pendred's a nice guy. One of the nicer guys probably ever. So I don't want to disparage that man's amazing name.
Yes, Max Holloway. So I actually heard like conflicting reports about this. A doctor told Max, the New York State Athletic Commission told Max Holloway he was unfit to fight because he had cut so much weight this past week to make 155. But according to, I can't remember who.
It's a Hawaiian reporter, I think, right?
Yeah. No doctors from the State Athletic Commission actually saw Holloway. So, New York.
Yeah, go ahead.
And NYC gonna NYC.
But I mean, you know what? That's good. Like, if he was really cut. First off, fighters need to. We obviously all prefer it, but if you're a fighter, keep your weight cut very quiet. Because if you commissions are way more sensitive now to that, and if you're one of these guys who cuts 30, 40 pounds, you're gonna probably wind up getting caught and
taken off the card.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a good thing. That is a positive thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not against it, but this was a story before Max Holloway stepped on the plane to come to Brooklyn. His nutritionist was like, "This is going to be the biggest weight cut I've ever dealt with."
Right, which the UFC also probably should have known about, or should have made. I would have brought Ortega in. Like, I would have brought him in, just had him follow. We'll pay you to cut weight.
We'll get back to that.
Well, we can.
At the end of this, because
a lot more fall throughs.
So last minute, that doesn't end up happening. I think that news breaks like Friday morning. Thursday night, yes. Friday morning.
Friday morning. Although, to your credit, or to your fuck you were very clear that there were still weigh-ins to come, so to be prepared for trouble. So you ruined. I ruined Khabib Tony. You ruined Khabib Max.
So no, you see, you put the blame on me, but I'm just in the ether of this, man. I know what my sport's going to do to me, and I still accept it because I am numb.
I don't think I got any work done when I was at work while this happened because I just kept refreshing my Twitter feed.
Oh yeah, no, I was
exactly.
I've been unproductive all week.
I'm not gonna lie. When Holloway being out of the fight broke, it started raining where I was, literally.
God, we're still not even. So last minute, the UFC decides to go to Anthony Pettis, former lightweight champion Anthony Pettis, to fill in for Max Holloway. He ends up coming in 0.2 pounds overweight for a championship fight. He was originally scheduled to fight Paul Felder on this card and would have been perfectly in line with like his weight, with the weight allowance had he gone through with that fight.
Pettis?
Yes, he was like
Chiesa.
Pettis Chiesa. Yeah, my bad. So that was like 150. He was 155.2. Mm-hmm. He had 2 hours to make weight. I'm not sure if their negotiations began before weigh-ins or after weigh-ins, but that fight ended up falling through because Pettis wanted more money for a title fight, which fair to him, completely understandable.
Right. And for the record, Dana White did not seem mad at Anthony Pettis, so it doesn't seem like that was a beef issue. It seems like they just
just couldn't make it work out a deal. Yeah,
because he's not a guy who hides when he's fucking pissed at somebody, and he was very complimentary towards Pettis. So
right. So that didn't end up happening. So what the UFC decided to do was they had since Chiesa was off the card for reasons we'll get to. The UFC went to the other lightweight fight on this card to try to get a contender for Khabib to fight. And their first choice was Paul Felder. That didn't end up happening.
Well, hold on. Can we talk about, or at least from what I heard, so they denied Paul Felder because we suddenly care about rankings now?
Well, I don't know if Anna Cole's going to get to it, so I'll be quiet on that. But I believe that's in dispute.
I believe it. Because it's NYC and they're terrible people. I believe it 100%.
I'm not sure what the reasoning is behind it. Like I saw some people dispute that.
The head of the commission came out and said here's the key term: officially proposed. He was never officially proposed.
Right. Yeah. So, but the reason that Mike Rhodes and gave was that Paul Felder was not officially ranked. Right. Mind you, the New York State Athletic Commission, I believe, is the same commission that made Danny Garcia versus Rod Salka.
In the same building.
In the same building. So
can't make this up.
Who knows what's true or not?
There's a lot of rogue agents apparently, because we had a no doctor see Max, but the commission canceled him, and apparently we had some rogue dude telling Felder he can't fight because he's not ranked.
I think this is all like just Team Saralongo. Like they're just
pulling the strings.
Just pulling the strings.
Look, if you're my friend and you pulling the strings gets me to fight Khabib, then I don't think we're gonna be friends. I'll be friends with the guy who throws the chairs.
So, but just to get to the end of this, so we finally have an opponent for Khabib, because they decided to go with Iaquinta. Just a little reference for just a little perspective. Iaquinta was the only main card fighter who at media day did not have a sign with his name on it.
And
he had to draw his own sign. And
They
all
did
it
that
said
shit on
was,
purpose, man.
yes, because for one, Iaquinta is has been on bad terms with the UFC since he was denied a bonus and then proceeded to trash his hotel room.
Isn't he a part of like the Project Spearhead thing too?
And now he's a part of
Yeah.
Project Spearhead.
Interim treasurer, I believe, is the title he has.
I know he's a realtor and everything, but like, would you trust Iaquinta to be your treasurer?
I mean, well, there's a lot of things about this. Like you need some real labor sharks in here, not
Fighters.
Yeah, I mean, no, you can have fighters involved in it. You need facial figures that people can recognize, but get some labor guys in here who really know what they're doing.
Yeah, like I don't know honestly much about Project Spearhead besides like it's Leslie Smith, Cajun Johnson's part of it, and now Iaquinta. But
I mean, I'm sure their heart's in the right place. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure that you're dealing with these people like WME IMG. They do this for like a living. So
yeah.
I would not go into it without some serious.
Wait.
Yeah.
But so the guy they probably least wanted to get the opportunity to win the lightweight championship ended up winning, getting the opportunity to fight for the lightweight championship, but not without some controversy though. As so Iaquinta came in on weight for his fight, which was originally scheduled to be Paul Felder, but I believe he was also at 155.2, which is over the limit for a championship fight. So I don't think I ever like read up on whether it was clarified or not.
I saw that.
I know
I saw something like
Dana said if Al won, they would consider him the lightweight champion.
Yeah. So from what I read, the athletic commission said they wouldn't. I guess they wouldn't recognize Al as champ if he won, but like in the same breath, it's like we can't tell the UFC who's the champ. I guess
because the UFC title is not a real thing. That's what this comes down to. The UFC is literally allowed to hand whoever they want the championship. So the New York State Athletic Commission can't tell them what to do.
Where's Jose Suleiman when you need him?
This was such a. I felt like this 1 week just exposed everything bad about I don't. It feels like a punishment for like a past transgression, and now, and now like the MMA gods are this is the plague that they've unleashed.
I would agree, but it's not just MMA because we had the biggest boxing fight of 2018 fucking canceled. So there's like a combat sports titan out there just.
Yeah, he's wrecking shop.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. Those fights where like you show people where like it shows off all the aspects of MMA like in like the best light possible, like the grappling, the wrestling, the striking, and everything like that. This is like that, but with all the issues that happen outside the cage in the ring. This
shows why rankings need to be taken seriously.
This shows why.
Just get rid of them.
Yes, this shows why bloggers shouldn't be allowed to rank professional fighters.
I mean, the key to the whole ranking system was that they didn't want it. Like the UFC was very honest when they instituted these rankings. Like, this is Fox's idea. We didn't want this. Fox says that people. First off, Fox told them that fans recognize rankings as to represent who's the best or who's the worst. But rankings are subjective from the very beginning. Like, look at college football. They have rankings for they have the head coaches ranking. They have they used to have the BCS rankings. I don't know if they still have them. But it's like rankings are so arbitrary that it's impossible to get a good ranking system. And this sport can't work with rankings. This sport has worked as it's like magnetic poetry. You just kind of throw things together and see what happens. Rankings kind of obfuscate that. So
Right.
at this point, right.
And all they've done so far is stall fights that we actually want to see.
Yeah, because you have, like I've written about this for like forever now, or at least I've tried to write about this forever now. It's like you always hear, well, he's ranked 7th, so why would I fight him? Well, he's like Zabit Magomedarapov, we're going to talk about later. Is he not a top 15 featherweight? Probably, but will he be ranked in the top 15? Probably not. And will anybody in the top 15 want to fight him because he's not like? It just creates this weird dynamic that MMA can't. It's not mature enough to handle.
Exactly. And just back to Stokes. This is a real sport. Can we just be honest about that? Like Brock Lesnar has a title fight when he comes back.
I don't. How would I put this? It's a sport that's also like a clown car on fire. That's like, it's a very weird, like combat sports in general have always been very strange, but it's like MMA takes the strange and like makes it the key element. Like, combat sports has always had a very fringy sports tie, and MMA is just like, well, we can modify this a little bit.
And I mean, if you want to know what the public perception of MMA is, I mean, we'll get to it, but look at all the fan reaction for Conor after
when they studied MMA, or when they studied MMA fans, they watch very, very, very little sports. They watch very little live programming outside of MMA, like, and pro wrestling. So
it makes sense.
I mean, yeah.
MMA fans is something. Yo.
But there was some serious primordial ooze shit going on with this Conor fan base.
Yeah, I guess we should let's get to the Dolly incident.
Conor
Dolly Gate.
Oh man.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, you're not right.
But MMA fans are trash in general, so
it's not even just like they're trash. It's like they're just like completely irrational. Like
we live in the era of cult of personalities, and Conor's one of them.
Yeah.
To any Conor fans, we're just gonna talk shit about Conor for the next 3 hours.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna do Stokes a favor. If you're one of those Conor fans who had a problem with the Diaz brothers fighting in the cage, like the Strikeforce brawl, then there's something you need to be slapped. So
do we need to start with Khabib Punk and Lobo?
Yes, because it's hilarious.
That was the sternest G check, and it was so calm. It was
like when your mom catches you saying something you're not supposed to do.
Right. Like he palmed the back of his head like he was a 5-year-old, and it's like, don't do that again.
The best part is like people are like, Conor's defending Artem. Artem said he would slap Khabib if he saw him, and I think he referred to him as a better. So Khabib confront, like, you surprised?
Fuck.
Yeah, and I saw people like, oh, well, Khabib had 20 people. I don't think it'd matter. Khabib could have ran up there by himself. I don't think Lobov wanted any of those.
I don't think Khabib is afraid of Artem Lobov.
When another grown man grabs you and holds the back of your head like that, he is not at all afraid of you. He will fight you and anybody who you're with.
I think Alex Davis was on the bus, and he said Khabib wanted to get off the bus. Like, he wanted to get off the bus, and he had to restrain him. So, I mean, this is, as he said, this is just street fighting. I have plenty street fighting, so he does not give a shit about anybody.
Yeah.
How fast do you guys think Artem called Conor after that?
Apparently 24 hours.
Like, and so let's get into the incident, I guess. So I don't know. I don't remember the specifics of it off the top of my head, but Conor gets into the Barclays with the help of the Mac Life people.
Apparently.
Allegedly.
I'm sorry. Like, why are they credentialed?
They were I believe the rumor was that they were going to announce Conor's return. So they were there for maybe that. I have no fucking idea.
I know that they were like supposed to be like negotiating a new contract for him. But
yeah.
At the press conference last night, Dana was like, "Oh, I didn't even know Conor was coming." So it's like that made me think, oh, was it really for a contract then? Like, what is Dana trying to say?
Apparently, he wasn't going to come. Well, according to, I think, Akamoto or Helwani, he thought about coming and then backed off at like the last minute when Ferguson fell out, and then when the Khabib accident happened, or the Khabib incident happened, he made the decision to obviously show up.
Okay, so Khabib, McGregor gets into the Barclays and proceeds to attack the bus for the fighters who had just done media day. The bus was supposed to take them back to their hotel. He proceeds to bang on the driver's side of the bus. He picks up a hand dolly and throws it through the back window.
And poor Michael Chiesa.
Poor Ray Borg, whose career might actually be over.
I just imagine like Keith and Borg were sitting in the seat with their headphones in, just probably like zoning out, and then you just look up and glass.
The fuck's that coming my way?
It's just right, and it's like you can't duck, you can't get out the way. Like glass is just in your face, and then God, the people. All right, for people who don't know, if you've never seen a picture of me, I wear glasses. I've worn glasses.
Oh my God! Thank you. Please make this argument for me, please.
Oh my God, I've worn glasses since we're gonna say like first grade, maybe. My eyes have been terrible for a very long time. Moral of the story, but so poor Ray Borg, who caught some debris in his eye. Obviously, if you sit by a broken window, that's probably gonna happen. And people are like, oh, he doesn't look cut, oh, how can it get into his eye? And like, albeit, Borg had the big wide frame glasses. But let me inform you people who maybe if you don't wear glasses, you don't know the struggle. These are not, this isn't a mask.
Yeah, they're not goggles, people.
Yeah, this isn't, if something breaks, it's going to get in your eye. The glasses are not going to protect you. It might shield a little bit. But if your face is by a broken window, your eye is getting cut. There's no way around it. I don't know what world you guys operate in. And then like people were like calling Borg out, saying, oh, he wanted an excuse to not fight and so on and so forth. Like half you guys would call out of work, if you cough too hard in the morning, like, and you want this guy to fight when he just literally has like little mini incisions in his eye. Like, it's yeah, you guys are trash. That's the moral. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Could you guys have imagined if that glass got to Rose? Like, it actually like messed her up.
Dude, she almost got hit by a chair.
She was very honest that she did not. She really thought about not fighting. She was pretty honest at the presser that she didn't think she was. There was a moment where she wasn't gonna fight.
I thought she before that happened. Like I was like really confident in Rose. Oh, Rose gonna take it again. And then when that happened, I was like, I think like is this gonna shake Rose? Like.
Like she had to walk back to she had to walk back to the hotel to clear her head and everything to calm down.
And then like the thing that pissed me off was that there were people, again, social media, Twitter, whatever, who are like, she's fragile. It's like, do you even understand what this woman's been through in her life? Like, just because somebody has like a high anxiety level doesn't mean that they're fragile, and especially someone who's been through some shit that nobody could imagine going through in their lives. So. It was not a good week to be an MMA fan. It was not a good week for MMA fans.
Right.
And so, I guess real quick to list off the fights that we lost. So, we lost Moreno and Borg, which I was really looking forward to. Mm-hmm. So, that's out of here. Lobov, since he was involved, he's out of here. So, we lost Lobov and Bruce Leroy. We lost... What was the other one? Oh yeah, so we lost Felder and Iaquinta because that whole shuffle. So we went from 13 fights to 9 in the span of like 24 hours.
Can you imagine if like Rose did get hurt?
There's no way you could have made this a pay-per-view. You would have had to like downgraded this to like a FS1 card.
Would have gotten scrapped probably.
Yeah,
And the best part is people were like, when it originally happened, there was like, well, Connor wasn't throwing anything, like he was just there. And then we had video of him throwing things, and then they're like, that's all he did. And then there's video of him shouting, "Break all the windows," and it's like, it just kept, like, this guy was clearly the ringleader to the entire thing. Like, this is you can't make. And then he like escapes in like a black SUV. Someone caught them all filing out together.
like. I'm sorry, Charlie Ward and Artem Lobov are not going to run up on a UFC fighter bus and just start like throwing shit. Of course, it was Connor.
There's an amazing screen cap of Lobov as things are going down, and he looks horrified. Like, what have I done?
He knows he's about to get out of here. Oh boy, I say this in all seriousness. I really think Connor's strung out, and I'm not even.
That's
joking.
what I said to my friend. He doesn't believe me.
I'm 100%. I'm 100% convinced. Like he's. There's no way you can't tell me this guy isn't snorting lines like every day. And I say this in all seriousness.
Apparently, he took offense to the idea, like a Dana scrum, but apparently he took offense to the idea that Dana had said something like, "I don't know what's wrong with him," and apparently Connor took offense to that. So, I mean.
Yeah, he hit a nerve.
Maybe. Like, of all the things to be offended about, like, that's the comment you want?
Because it, like, I get, like, we've seen people in the sport, like, you know, there are always some guys who are wild, they're kind of out of control. But his is, like, it's so over the top that it's, like, there's something else going on here. Like, this isn't just you. You're not just being just, oh, I'm the wild guy, I'm, you know. Like, there's something wrong. Like, there's something, like, between this and the event where, you know, he slapped the commissioner at the one fight and that whole situation that happened, like something's really wrong with this guy.
What's wrong with him is they gave him the longest leash in the world.
Yeah, and I think that's the key here. Like he's been allowed to do whatever he wants for so long, to the point where, like, it just he doesn't think that there were maybe, you know, that there are any rules to this entire thing, because there hasn't been any. And you want to talk about bad for the future of the sport. The UFC could easily do what the WWE does and make sure that there's a ceiling over everybody's head, and there will never be another Conor McGregor, because they'll never allow them to be another Conor McGregor. They'll find a guy who they can, a Chuck Liddell type, who they can mold and cultivate, who's always super loyal to them, or, you know, like a GSP they had for a long time, and they just make sure that there's never another Conor. Because you just can't have this.
And we've said a while on this podcast, like we were all waiting for this Conor thing to blow up. Is this the final straw, you think? Do you think they finally learned their lesson that we can't have guys just doing whatever, or do we think somehow he'll squiggle his way back in?
He'll be back.
I mean, he'll be back. He'll be back for sure.
Well, not in the sense that like they'll get.
This.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
From the UFC, maybe the Athletic Commission, but
that's what I was going to suggest. I think there will be
from the UFC.
I think that what they're going to say is that, hey, it depends. Their response will tell you a lot. If they say like, well, we stripped him and that's his punishment, then there's nothing. But if we get some, I don't even know what you could do to him though. Like, suspend him, he never fights. So like,
right.
You can't suspend him. Fine him. What's that going to do? Nothing really. Strip him. He doesn't matter. He's already been stripped. Make him fight Khabib is the only punishment that you have.
Yeah, basically.
You're not gonna cut him.
Like they were talking. I know you. I think you posted this. They were talking to him about like getting him a welterweight title fight. I guess you could.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's the RDA. We're not gonna escape that fight. To be fair though,
I can't even believe
Conor RDA or Covington RDA for 6 weeks. Which would you prefer?
Right.
Not from a business standpoint, but just from these guys having to talk.
I don't know. I kind of want to see Covington get beat a little more.
This is MMA. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't want him to be done with the sport. Like I want him to fight again, but I hope they can get the leash under control. Like now, it's time to rein him back in. We got to bring you back down.
They can't, because they can't afford to.
I mean, again, like there's not like even if they wanted to, there's what can you possibly do?
So then is it one of those deals where like is it like you have to either be all in, or do we have to just cut our hands and let him go? Or
Is
is there
no
even
way
a
on
gray
earth
area?
they will ever do that.
Yeah, there's unless
So then it's
the only thing I can think of is if this TV deal comes through, and it sounds like they're working on it. If this TV deal comes through and they're making a significant bank, then maybe you can suspend him for a year and just be like, what a pay-per-view hit to prove a point. But I don't even think you can do that. Like, I don't know what you would do. I don't know what I would do in this situation.
I mean, at that point, wouldn't he just buy out his contract or something?
I don't know. I mean, like,
He's the only guy on the roster who can do that.
he's probably, yeah. And he's probably the only guy. But then again, it's like, what would he do? Because he can't,
Conor Khabib 2019 Madison Square Garden.
He goes and does Floyd Conor too.
Oh, it's possible, but I'm saying, like, is he going to run his own promotion against you? Like, I don't think he's stable enough to.
Do you think he thinks he's unstable enough?
No,
not to
but
do
I'm
it?
saying, like, but I don't want. Then that would probably get other fighters hurt in the process, because it's like, imagine latching onto, like, his name value is so strong that you would want to latch onto a project with him, but like, you don't even. It's like when De La Hoya started up, and Golden Boy Promotions was in tatters before Schaefer kind of elevated himself up the rankings. It's like, that would kind of be a similar situation. Or like Roy Jones, no disrespect to Roy Jones, but like a fighter who's kind of on the fringe of being, I don't want to use the term emotionally unstable, fighter on the fringe, like running his own business where multi-million dollars are at stake. I don't know. Like,
I don't think it would work out, but
you know what? Sure.
I think Conor would make a lot of money. I think the business would go under though.
So he like old promoter. He'd put himself over and make sure he gets all the cash, and then be like, I got nothing for you guys.
we throwing chairs at his owner.
I mean, like, let's be real. Who? I don't see a whole ton of guys just like going over and doing business with Conor.
I don't think no, but there are probably a lot of fighters in Europe who would latch onto that.
I'm sure like everybody at any SBG gym in like the UK or Ireland would join in.
Can we
I'm
talk?
sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah, and I'm sure, like you said, there'd be like a whole bunch of dudes in Europe, but like.
He's gonna do like LeVar Ball, how they do like the Lithuania challenges. He's just gonna make the SBG. He's just gonna make the SBG challenge, and everybody's just gonna have to come fight people in his gym.
Can we talk about SBG for a minute? I've discussed this before. There's nothing wrong with getting your friends jobs. There's nothing wrong with getting fellow fighters in your camp spots. But Artem Lobov and Charlie Ward and now John Phillips, like, there's got to be a level of quality control here, because some of these guys are strictly getting signed basically because they're getting signed and they're hanging on longer than they should be because they're close to Conor, which is no big deal. He's a star. He should have his friend. But if Artem's there, this incident doesn't happen. And they were giving Artem Lobov another chance that he's probably just getting because he's really close friends with Conor. So,
I mean, the only reason he was on this card is because they hoped Conor would come.
Right. So it's like, I get it. You want to get your friends gigs. You want to get your friends hired. I think that's awesome. I think that's great for, that's a sign of who you are. And Conor's obviously a loyal dude, but Lobov had no business he has no business at this point being on the UFC roster. And now he's like a prime catalyst for a traumatic event for an entire organization.
That's the real reason Conor threw the dolly, because Bruce Leroy would have got Artem out of here. That might have been the official cutting of the string.
Do
you think there's any?
Oh no, go ahead.
Do you think there's any chance? Do you think there's any chance that UFC will cut Artem?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. See, here's the thing. Like, you might be tied to the star, but you're not the cash cow. So we can shoot you out of here and probably not feel too bad about it.
They'd cut Charlie Ward, which would give me some belief they would.
Yeah, I think Artem. And it's not like I could see if Artem was one of those guys where like maybe like he was a lot of his fights were like super exciting and he was just losing like these really close fights. But it's kind of like like if we lose you, it's not like it's not a big deal. Like nobody and no disrespect. I don't think anybody's looking at a card and they're like, oh snap, Artem Lobov, gotta watch that one.
Like don't disrespect.
Unless he's fighting somebody good.
Like in all honesty, dude, like the UFC lost multi-millions of dollars this week.
Probably, yeah. I mean, well, lost relative to like they didn't go in the red on this event, but they lost compared to what they could have gotten for sure.
Right. They lost millions of dollars because not because of Artem Lobov, but stemming from a problem of Artem Lobov stopping his mouth.
I mean,
A problem Artem started basically. I mean, he was
Bellator
the one who
has like half the SBG gym anyway.
They
Right.
really do.
Oh yeah, Lobov would be in Bellator, and he would be like, they would put him in like a main card spot. So,
Main event in Ireland.
immediately.
Fuck it.
but it's just weird. Like people always talk about certain fighters like John Jones and John Jones had a brawl with another fighter who was right in front of him. Like they had a fight that was sometimes that happens. You know, this
Dude,
was
I'm sorry, but like if this had been like that, where Conor got to Khabib before he got on the bus and they just fought,
right.
Like in the park, like this probably wouldn't be as big of a deal.
And oh, by the way, let's be 150% fucking real. He just happened to show up as the buses were closed and getting ready to roll out.
Right.
Just happened to be just weird timing. You want to fight Khabib, you know what time the workout, you know what time media day starts, you know what time the workouts are. Like if this was
not even that, you've been sitting down for like 2 years.
You know where his hotel is.
Yeah, like there were ample opportunities to have made this statement. If that's what you want to call it. I mean, Karolina Kowalkiewicz had the best line though. She was asked like, was she afraid? And she's like, no, I'm from Poland. She was just like,
Valid point.
But I
valid
mean,
point.
you know, it's not just fighters because we always talk about the fighters who got hurt, but like Reed Harris, you know, one of those guys who I see all the time on stage separating the fighters, he got hit apparently a bunch of times. Like there were people who had nothing to do with even the fight. Like it's like the fight cards itself, just random employees of the UFC who are getting pelted.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm like. You got to drop the hammer somehow, but I don't trust the UFC to drop the hammer.
I mean, business always wins out. Like in any Mike Tyson came out of jail from a rape conviction and was fighting almost immediately. So this is like combat sports always plays fake games with fake rules. So, but I mean, what was the point? What was the whole point? What was he trying to prove? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
And just like going back to what I said before, he could have been in the cage on Saturday if he really, really wanted to.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably should have.
They offered him this date. They offered him November. They offered him December. They offered him last month, and they gave him whatever he wanted, but he kept asking for more.
Right. And like I said, I think that this is going to build. They'll never. Every time a prospect starts, like again, we're going to use Conor McGregor as the example. They could have given him Darren Elkins. They could have given him Clay Guida. They could have given him Ricardo Lamas. They gave him Dennis Seaver.
Right.
And they knew what they were doing because that's how you make a star. You get them to a certain point on their. You kind of help them a little bit, fair matchups. You get them to a certain point, and then you give them the big cash out fight where if they lose, you made a lot of money. If they win, you have a new star. Like, they may never do that again. They may just, like, we talk about the way they burn light heavyweight prospects. They may burn every prospect this way. And that's not good for the sport. Not good at all. So, I think it's going to be a long-term damaging thing.
Lord. Well, I feel like this one incident could be a whole podcast.
I mean, it's like,
and
then there was like the embedded where, because we're talking about it, but there was the embedded where the UFC showed their footage of it, and people were upset about it, and it's like, it's part of the history of this event. Like, you can't run from it. You have to, like, obviously you're going to make a profit off of it, or you're going to...
That, and I mean, it altered the entire card.
It's part of the story.
You can't brush over that.
It's part of the story now. So, don't we deserve to see it? Like, I feel like if there's a fight backstage, I think we deserve to be known about it, like to hear about it.
I mean, if we're being real, I don't really watch Tough as of recent, but considering all the stuff we've seen on Tough, I think we can handle a dolly being thrown at a window. We've seen other things on Tough. I think we're a bit,
But this is like, there was like a time where shit like this wouldn't be surprising, where you had your War Machines and your Junie Brownings, but those were like lower level dudes. This is the face of the sport.
Right.
Read this, Michael Chiesa, Ray Borg. Please take this man to civil court and take millions from him, because that seems like that's going to be the only punishment that he's going to be getting.
I thought I heard. I don't know if I read it. I thought I heard Chiesa was suing.
He should.
I thought I read that.
His statement made it seem like he had already contacted a lawyer. To be honest with you, like, the New York State Athletic Commission said that was an ineligible fight. That's all I will say at this moment.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the UFC lost millions, all that good stuff. But like at the end of the day, all of these fighters, they're still regular people. This is their 9 to 5, and you just took money out of their wallet.
That's what Ray Borg said.
That
and Ray Borg's he trained. He's done 2 camps for the same fight. Because he was gonna fight Moreno, and then Moreno got hurt, or there was the USADA, whatever. And then this fight. So it's like Borg's out 2 training camps.
He just had a kid.
And he just had a kid.
So people are like, oh, he's just like, dude didn't come this whole way just to find, like, he came here to fight ultimately, because you're not gonna see. It's not like you sue somebody and see the money the next day.
Right.
So it's not like he didn't go through all this for a payout 5 years from now.
And so that brings me to, I guess, our next point. Dana White said that the fighters that were affected by the bus incident will be paid. He didn't say they would get paid their show money.
No, it's show money, not win money, I believe.
Show money. Yeah.
I think he said. I don't think he said along the lines of like they were getting paid, but they weren't getting paid show or win. They were just getting paid. That's what I remember seeing.
I think a fair thing to do would be for the fighters who were pulled out for legitimate injury reasons, because Ray Borg may not fight again. That was Joe Rogan's interpretation, and Chiesa. I think those guys should get $50K, like an of the night bonus is fair. You want to give Caceres his win and his show, whatever, fine. You want to do the same thing with Felder, Pettis, whatever. But I think the guys who were pulled off the card because they were legitimately hurt should get a sizable different amount. I think it's okay to be. I think it's okay to. I don't want to say be unfair, but I think it's okay to be different with those guys.
Right. Yeah, because their circumstances are. We all were a part of the chaos, but everybody was not affected like equally. Like they might have long-term effects on theirs, as to where the other guys, it's like, yeah, your fight got canceled, but you'll be able to get another fight, hopefully relatively soon.
I think Pettis and Felder are already kind of being rebooked. Probably for June, because I think they're from Chicago. Well, Felder's from Philadelphia, but Pettis is from Chicago or Milwaukee, which is like right next to me.
Yeah, but Dana White's statement on his response when asked why they weren't going to receive their win money as well was, "We're not that rich."
I wouldn't expect anything less.
I mean, yeah.
That is the most Dana answer.
I kind of get what he's saying. I understand what he's trying to say, but it's like, be a little bit more. You know what though? Like he could have said we'll see, and then like gotten people's hopes up. I guess I don't know. I would have done show and.
I feel like if you're gonna say no,
you don't have to be. The thing is, he's like, I don't mean to say it's really like part of what made him a star, so to speak. Dana is that he's an asshole.
Right.
So I feel like this was befitting of like this is like an asshole response.
Yeah, this it's not surprising. This is the most Dana answer you'll ever hear.
But
they're running a business.
So, but this comes back to my point about I believe the UFC is going to go the way of Toys R Us.
Shout outs to one of my former employers.
Well, do you guys know the story behind why Toys R Us is closing?
Weren't there some private something going on,
Yeah.
and they
So
What was it? Because I had heard. Good.
Bain Capital and two other what you call it groups, not Ponzi scheme groups,
private investors,
hedge fund groups.
there you go.
So what ended up happening is after the big boom in the 80s and 90s of like kids toys like direct from TV, like your GI Joe, your Transformers, your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there was a big plateauing and like a steady drop off in like a demand for toys. And what ended up happening is like Toys R Us was still making money, but like they were taking on a little bit of debt. Like I think at the time it was like in the tens of millions. So what they end up doing, they sell to Bain Capital for like $6.6 billion. But instead of Bain Capital paying this out of money or like taking out a loan to pay it, what they agree to do is they pay 20% of it by themselves. And then 80% of it gets loaded onto the Toys R Us budget line. So what they're supposed to do is, cut costs, find ways to make the product and their stores more efficient in turning a profit. In part because of the Amazon boon, but really financially, they really just stayed in like the same place. They were consistently losing the same amount of money.
Right. I had heard that they were in the red, or they were consistently close to the red.
They were in the red, but but what ended up happening is their debt increased because they were not paying back their loans at a high enough rate. And that's my worry with the UFC.
It's possible, but I think that this would get offloaded. I don't think they would ever close it. I think they would offload it somehow. And let's not act like there aren't money marks out there who don't want to be a part of MMA.
I'm not saying there aren't, but like,
I mean, like, no. I get what you're saying.
At one point, is the debt too much to pay back?
Oh no, I totally get what you're saying. I think that that's a fair assessment on it, but I just don't ever think that'll happen. There'll always be like, there's gonna be some oligarchy who wants to,
If PFL's doors
that's
are
what I'm
still
saying.
open,
And there's
we'll
like,
find a way.
and like last year was the weirdest year, probably the worst year in terms of revenue, but they made like $300 million in profit. So somebody out there would look at that profit line and go, well, that's like, I could do that. Like, that'll always be the appeal of MMA, is that it's cheap to run. You have relatively cheap labor, probably the cheapest labor in all sports.
Mm-hmm.
And you have, it's producing nonstop content. And there's no competitor, like, realistically. Like, there's no, like, unless you think Bellator, but Bellator operates in the red. So there's no American competitor. There's no Amazon, so to speak. Yeah. So until I see like an Amazon, I have to believe that somebody's always going to want to be. Like, I was thinking that this week, somebody always wants to be in this sport somehow. And why?
I understand that. My issue is pay-per-views declining. They're not going to get the TV deal they want, and if they couldn't get it off the years they've had like recently, they're probably never going to get it.
I mean, I think that certainly possible. I mean, I think it's possible, but at the same time, it's like this business is always going to be weirdly cyclical, and somebody's always going to think I'm 1 star away. It's just the way it is. It's like boxing. Like when I got back into boxing, there were no Mexican stars. Like, and the general argument was, well, Mexican boxing is going to be dead. Like the Latin American Mexican fans are not going to come back because they had like Chris Areola. And you could like the Marquez and Vasquez rivalry, but they were not hot sellers. And then Canelo came along and pretty much changed Golden Boy Promotions. So it's always going to be one guy who always believes I'm 1 away. And maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it won't matter to WMEING, because I heard that Frankie NYC on SureDog, and he works for some other sites as well, does tremendous work kind of detailing the UFC business from his perspective. Really smart guy, really nice guy. And he had discussed that there was some talks about selling Fight Pass outright to Amazon. That they had talked about just selling Amazon the fight library. So I'm always going to believe that there's always going to be somebody who wants into this sport for some reason, because it's cheap live content.
Right.
But
and wasn't this event available on Amazon?
Yeah. But it's like, so I always believe that there's always going to be somebody who wants in. It's just weird. Like even last year, We had the Russian dude who we had the Russian fella who is under some. What was it?
Well, he's under he was arrested for embezzling money that they for the Elon Musk Hyperloop, I think. It was either that or the Olympic Stadium.
There's always gonna be some rich dude with a lot of money who wants in.
Yeah, I think it kind of boils down to kind of what you said earlier. Like, if the UFC had stiffer competition, and Bellator, you guys have been kicking yourself in the head for like the last, I don't even know how long.
And look at Bellator's expenses went up, but nothing else went up. Like, their expenses jumped because there was more production, more talent, and it's like, as long as the UFC doesn't overspend themselves, like, I definitely think at some point they're gonna have to figure this out. But as long as WME-IMG doesn't completely crater the brand, I can see them selling it off. It's worth.
I think the good thing they have going in their favor is, like, I mean, albeit we feel how we feel about how rankings and all that wildness works or doesn't work, but like the product will still draw people.
I mean, look at this card. This card got killed, and they sold the ticket. This card got wiped out on a Friday, and they still were selling tickets on it for Saturday. Like, they still made more money. So it's just.
And it was still a good card.
Oh, no, like, that's true. But, like, I'm just talking about, and I'm sure Anti-Cole can talk about this as well. There's a weird cult, like, MMA fans and combat sports fans, if you're selling it, they're going to buy it.
Right.
Like, holy shit. How much did Canelo versus Chavez Jr. do?
1 million.
Like 900,000 buys?
Yeah.
Like, the MMA fans and boxing fans we're really weird, and we're hardwired to spend.
No, we complain, but we come crawling back.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
we're marks, and we can't help it.
Because it's such a niche market, there's nowhere else to get the fix. So
Yeah, like, and it's like, we're grossly defensive of the product. Like, we're grossly defensive of the fighters. We're defensive of the sports. We're never going to leave. We're, like, addicted.
Yeah.
I said, like, we should do meth like normal people. But
I guess for the sake of time, because we could go on for this.
no, but I just to wrap up on my end, I totally get what he's saying, and it is a concern. But I don't think it'll ever happen.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll close, but I will say they may have some they might have some rough years ahead of them in terms of, like, just trying to get this all back on track. But,
It sounds like they've got a TV deal in the works, which is more than what they had before in terms of what they're starting at. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe if they get that TV deal and they do Brock and Connor comes back, they could offload it this year and just be like, well.
Maybe they move to USA when WWE moves to Fox Sports 1.
And here's the really fucked up thing. Here's the really fucked up thing. Like, this year was the worst year. Like, I think 2017 was the worst year for MMA ever. At least since I've been a fan. And their valuation went up. They went from 4.2 to 5 bill. So there's value there, and someone will buy it. I always believe.
Whose valuation is that?
That's according to the thing that they give out to their. What are they called? They're like Lake something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say Crystal Lake, but I don't think that's the right. Crystal Lake came and took a slashing to this card, but I don't think that's the name of the. I'd seriously say follow Frankie NYC if you go to Sherdog and look him up. He's really knowledgeable. So,
Yeah.
And he's got, and I think that's according to Meltzer, who has the valuation. And
because my understanding was their valuation was internal.
Dude, is anything internal in this sport?
I mean internal. Like,
No,
as in, they literally told investors what they were worth.
No. I think that this is to there. Could be. Let me see. I'm typing inside. Now we're.
that would be great. That would be very UFC.
Now we're never gonna. Forbes. According to Forbes, it's a $5 billion valuation.
How much do you guys think they're gonna get for the TV deal?
Fox is up to $250 million. They're not gonna. They're not gonna. No, it's according to the guy. Well, depends on who you ask, because according to the guy who runs, like, it went up according to the person who deals with HBO. He kind of leaked that. because they were in negotiations with HBO. So
Uh,
out that Fox is up. ESPN is supposedly going to bid, but hasn't bid yet. I think I'm guessing. I would guess less than 300 million, but over 200 million. Maybe 250. I think is probably 250, maybe. Because think about it, you get a guaranteed product basically once a week. You know.
yeah.
And if you're like NBC Sports, like what do you show?
Soccer.
I mean, soccer, but like.
Just don't go to ESPN. Don't go to ESPN. I don't want to see Stephen A. Yeah, that's not
Yeah, if they go to ESPN, I hope they get Teddy Atlas. He's not doing it.
See, I don't think they would get Stephen A. because Stephen A. is a CIA guy.
Ooh, good point. What's weird is that WME is to. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say ESPN's like MMA, like besides Brett Okamoto, like their their MMA coverage is really trash. Like none of those guys watch MMA. They're just talking heads, you know.
Yeah.
They read footnotes.
You know, but the funny part is
Twitter
the Fox
ramblings.
Sports 1 people still suck worse.
Dude, like it's weird because we're talking about Fox. Like they may want Fox wants WWE, the UFC wants. I really think that they want to be on with the AT&T people, and it's like I don't trust any of these people to broadcast this sport like
a sport.
Not even like a sport, but just like with any sort of care.
Yeah.
Like I think MMA's benefit is that you don't have to spend on it. It's just a cheap product to have on your television. So, you know, and I really think that they're gonna wind up on. I think that they're gonna wind up on AT&T in some form. I just don't know how. Like I don't know how they're gonna wind up on. You know, because I mentioned it the last time I'm on here. I think they want to go to like True TV or TBS or whatever it is.
Do we know like what networks like AT&T works really close with?
Not is it?
You next.
You next.
Direct.
Please give me something I can watch on Sling TV.
I think AT&T has their own like streaming service that they want to put UFC on or something like that.
Oh, God. I don't want to sign up for something else. Go to TBS and I can watch you guys every day and I won't have to use alternative methods.
Oh man, give me Charles Barkley covering that sport.
Oh, I would pay good money
to
hear Charles Barkley.
I can't wait till Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless have to comment on WWE. I want them to do it like it's a shoot.
It'll probably be to one. Well, I mean, dude, they're gonna fit in perfectly with WWE because they're both gimmicks. Like, okay, I don't know if Shannon Sharp is a gimmick, but I think we can agree that Skip Bayless is a gimmick.
Skip Bayless is either a gimmick or the dumbest man in sports.
So it has to be a gimmick.
Yeah, I don't think, and I've been following Skip for a while. I don't think Skip believes a lot of the things he says.
Did you hear what he
Skip
said
is
about
just there to.
That was a work?
Yeah.
I heard.
Yeah, that sounds very Skip.
I heard a lot of people saying that they think it's like. Can you really believe that UFC would put its own employees in the way of?
Yeah, if that's a work, that is a terrible.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, but not in this instance.
Yeah, not yeah. This was too.
No, but I mean, like,
we've
seen them like the Anik situation with Anik was caught in between Cormier and Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not a work. That's like you wouldn't put your fucking employees in the way of fucking two huge men. So
let's put the broadcaster in there.
Speaking of works and gimmicks, what the fuck is up with Dillashaw and Garbrandt shaking hands and hugging on the presser?
Take all the attention out in the first fight.
Oh man.
I was gonna make a bet.
Go ahead, let's hear it. You can't say I was gonna. You gotta.
I was gonna say TJ knocked it out of him.
Stoges is right here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I was trying to be considerate.
How he's gonna fly to where you live and throw fucking front window.
Oh man, but we're about an hour in.
Cody to the death. Fuck TJ.
But,
Fuck his brother. Fuck his dad. They live
Oh
like
my-
20 minutes away from me. Go fuck themselves.
God, his dad too. Jesus Christ. Sorry, Papa
I guess
Dillo
the-
Show.
I guess the mom's okay.
Like literally, they live like 30 minutes away from me. Like, go fuck themselves.
Keep Stoges away from Dolly's.
It's too early in the morning
I
to be
guess
so
so.
hostile.
Yeah. You can't get hospital till like after 12. We're about an hour, a little over an hour over. So we still
Holy
got to
shit,
cover
we
this
didn't even
card.
cover this card.
Yeah.
It just
So
dawned on me that
yeah,
there
you
were
guys are gonna be.
actual fights.
Yeah. There were fights before the fights, and now the actual ones that were judged and didn't have use of weapons. So let's go on. UFC 223. We'll just jump into it. Main event. After all of the shuffling of opponents and such, we were left with Khabib Nurmagomedov and Iaquinta. I have a lot to say about. I feel like I have more to say about the reaction of the fight than the fight itself. But just to stay on track, so I don't go off on a tangent.
I would like to hear that. No,
No,
because I think you're gonna say what I might want to say. So go ahead, let's hear it.
Yeah, the fight itself, I enjoyed it. It was not what I thought I was gonna get, but I think at the same time with the way this week went, I I can't really complain about anything. It's amazing that this card even happened still. So I would just shut up and be thankful that this card even happened. But I thought it was a good fight. Like, for all intents and purposes, everything surrounding the fight. I mean, first, hats off to Al for even, this is about as last minute as you can get, and considering who you're fighting, like, the fact that he was able to go 5 rounds, I mean, albeit he definitely lost pretty clearly. Like, the fact that he was in there, he was still going for it. He was trying his best, to make it a competitive fight. Like, nothing but respect for that dude. Like, this, going 5 rounds with Khabib and surviving, I think is at least like a moral victory in and of itself. The fight itself was very, very interesting because it seemed like after the second round, Khabib just, I'm gonna say he abandoned takedowns, but he was very content to stand and flick his jab out there for the next 3 rounds, and and unlike Khabib faction, he struck his way to a decision, which is something we don't get to see from him. But I have to give credit to Al. I think his style played a factor in why Khabib didn't ragdoll him as much as it wasn't as vicious as we've seen Khabib just kind of relentlessly, mercilessly beat the life out of other people. Even though Al's face would tell you otherwise, because it was still pretty, it was still pretty messed up. But like the fight itself, it wasn't anything. It was Khabib gonna Khabib, but it was just like he did it with striking, which was interesting to see because we normally takes you down and just mollywops you to death. But like the reactions to this fight, I thought were puzzling, because I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, Khabib is exposed, and his striking looked terrible, and blah blah blah." And it's like, well, have you guys been watching this last couple? His striking's never been. I don't think anybody's ever watched the Khabib fight and be like, "Oh man, that right hand is real." His striking has always been kind of like subpar. Like it's decent, it can get you by. It's not the bread and butter. So like I didn't get the whole he's being exposed, and if anything, you say his striking is subpar, which I would agree with you. It's not the cleanest, not the prettiest thing to look at. He won this fight very clearly with this very subpar striking. I don't know. I think to me that's more impressive. He didn't have to take Al down and just maul his face off. He was just able to like jab him to death and hit him with some 1-2s, and that just kind of worked. And I get it. Yeah, it wasn't. I feel like people are penalizing him because he didn't he wasn't as dominant, and I can't even say he wasn't dominant. You look at the scorecard, you see what happened. This fight wasn't close. So
no,
it's like,
you said everything I wanted to say.
it's like we're penalizing him because he didn't kill Al quicker than we thought he would kill him. Like, we penalize him because Al made it out the fight alive. Which kind of shows you, like, that's how high of a level that Khabib is, that we're penalizing him because he didn't completely maul somebody's face off, even though he clearly won on the scorecards, and none of these rounds were even remotely close. So yeah, I thought that kind of like bothered me after the fight, and I get it. Khabib striking it's not the prettiest thing to look at, but hey man, it worked for 5 rounds. Well, the first 2 rounds were a lot of takedowns going on, but yeah, like rounds 3 to 5 was just him standing and it worked, and it worked very effectively. So I don't have any complaints. Like I say, considering all of the wildness that was surrounding this card, like Khabib went through like 20 opponent changes within like 30 minutes. So it's like he went out there, man. He did his thing. The dude is 26-0 now. I still think consensus #1 lightweight. You can feel how you feel about Conor or Tony. Well, I still do want to see him and Tony, even though I know that fight now is never going to happen. We can chalk that up there with fights like GSP and Anderson, where like they were fun to talk about in theory, but they're never going to happen. They're not real things. They'll just, they're fun mythical fights that we can just dream of, but it's never going to happen. But I thought Khabib did awesome, and like I said, hats off to Al for stepping in there and saving the card at the very, very last minute. Nothing but respect to both dudes, but Khabib gonna Khabib. That's all I got.
Joe Rogan said this wasn't a dominant performance.
I don't know what he was watching.
That's another thing I meant to add real quick. When I rewatched this fight this morning, I had to mute it after like the second round. Joe was killing me. Joe was.
He got progressively worse as the night went along. He started really hot.
Oh yeah.
And I want to say by the end of the third fight or so, he was just like not even seeing people.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. I feel like we're not watching the same.
We're
not watching the same thing.
He was messing up the names at the ceremonial weigh-ins too. Like he called Bokniak what's his name?
Did he call Bokniak Khabib?
Yeah, Khabib. He called him Khabib.
Oh Lord!
I don't know how you can get that one wrong.
Right.
He announced one of the fights that got canceled.
Oh man, but how did you guys feel about this main event?
It says a lot about you when you beat a man 50-43 and people are like, you got exposed. So I'm actually higher up on Khabib's game after this one, because that say whatever about the rest of his form, the jab, the jab is money, because he messed the crap out of Iaquinta's face. He was doing some things right. Like he has the same a similar stance to Luke Rockhold, where they fold at the hips so that the left shoulder rests a little high to guard the chin, and I like that. This fight kind of has me more interested in Eddie Alvarez versus Khabib, because I think Alvarez is somebody who could make Khabib pay for missing takedowns late in fights. Like you get to that third, fourth round, and Alvarez's work is still going to the body with those big punches. That's a fight I really want to see. I still want to see the Tony fight, but like you said, we're never going to get that. I don't know if it changes how I feel about a fight between him and McGregor. Honestly, I think he ragdolls McGregor. So.
Yeah, I was gonna tag in again real quick because that was another thing I saw. people said, oh, it exposed how bad his striking is, and Conor's this elite striker, and so on and so forth. And it's like, well, we can easily reverse that. Conor can't grapple to save his life. Al can stuff a takedown. He has the ability to do that. If Khabib gets that single leg, which he was just grabbing ankles and somehow still getting takedowns, he grabs Conor's ankles, that's over. That's a wrap. You can go ahead and just throw the towel in right there. He's not getting back up. That's not happening.
And it's not like he has the gas tank to make him pay down the stretch.
Right. So it's like really they kind of offset each other.
Right.
And yeah.
Can we talk about that takedown though, where he literally just grabs him by the like not even he grabs him by like the low part of his shin, and he just refuses to let go as Al is like kicking to get away.
I think that's the one thing. I don't remember if Joe said it. One of them said it was one of the few things he said that I agree with. That like, there's nothing like really flashy about what Khabib does, but it's so effective because he just doesn't stop. Like, he's gonna pick at the ankle. You might kick away for a second, but he's gonna be right back in your face. Like, he's not gonna let you breathe until he gets his takedown. Right. And like, there's not really much you can do about it.
So, I would like to cross sports momentarily to make a Khabib comparison. Watching him fight Alec, first off, amazing job just to make it through this week and get to the fight. But watching him fight, I see so much Vladimir Klitschko. In the sense that the standard is so high for him that even when he dominates and does it without really even breaking a sweat, it's not enough. And watching him jab, it's like, you know what he's going to do. He's got a few weapons, but he uses them so well that I watch him and I see like a high-level Vladimir Klitschko fighting at the deepest weight class in his sport. And it's amazing. And real quick, fuck you, Khabib, for using ankle picks. That's Tony Ferguson's move. And you were rubbing it into our face that we weren't getting that fight. But just watching him reminds me of Vladimir Klitschko so much. Just this dominant, high-level guy whose world's better than just about anybody he fights. And he does it, but he's doing it in a division that's not heavyweight. There's no like Eddie Chambers or Calvin Brox to fight. Like, he's fighting the elite guys of his weight class in that division. And it's just impressive on a level of which that, like, sometimes, like I said, he makes it look like a work. Like, he makes this sport look fake.
Right.
And it's really impressive. And I thought a lot of he was exposed, this, that, and the other thing, like, that just felt like people wanting to nitpick. Like, I'm a Tony Ferguson fan. You will not find a bigger Tony Ferguson fan than me. But watching that performance, I didn't walk away thinking he was any lesser than when he came in. Like, he took an opponent on 24 hours notice after having 4 different opponents before that and just executed this, probably the same game plan he had for Tony. Just ran right through Iaquinta. So, I still want to see Khabib fight Tony, obviously. Eddie Alvarez is intriguing as well. I didn't even think about that until he mentioned it.
Oh,
Conor, obviously. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just him and Justin Gaethje.
Khabib and Justin Gaethje?
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be awesome, because I think people forget that Justin Gaethje has really, really good wrestling. We just see him be violent all the time, and he doesn't really have to use it.
I need to see Gaethje. I need to see how he looks like after this fight with Alvarez. I need to see him versus Poirier first. But I think it would be an interesting matchup. Because if it goes to the 5th round, you're not going to be able... Like, he's going to be fucking... Dude's going to be exhausted, but he's one of those fighters that the Anti-Cool mentions all the time, that when he's tired, he's at his best. Like, he fights tired. So, I don't know, man. Like, I still go Khabib. I go Khabib until he gets beaten. Except for Tony. I think Tony Ferguson... I'm watching those takedowns, and I'm just trying to see if he puts his neck in a spot where Tony can grab him. And it's like, he doesn't leave a lot of openings, but I think every once in a while there may be one. And a guy like Ferguson will make you pay for those. You know, the best Darce choke in the game. So, I just need to see that fight. So badly.
This fight did make me think for a split second if Ortega would have gotten that call.
Dude, I think Ortega would be the best matchup for him. I think that Brian Ortega... up a weight class or whatever, like, Ortega, to beat a guy like Khabib, it's almost like Fedor versus Verdum. You just need one moment. Like, you need a guy who can explode in one moment. And I think Ortega, Ferguson, Alvarez, I'm kind of thinking Alvarez now too, like just trying to run through that. Alvarez, I think that would be a clinch battle though, and I don't favor Alvarez in a clinch battle. Because against Pettis, he was clinching heavy. I don't know. I don't think anybody beats the Alvarez who fought RDA that one night. Like, that was a man on a mission from God.
I'm thinking like the RDA, the Alvarez that fought Justin Gaethje, like that just invested.
I don't
in
think
body
Khabib could
punches.
damage him the way. Yeah, I don't think Khabib could damage him the way that Gaethje could. Now, it is worth pointing out that Chandler got his neck.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
but Khabib's submission game, I'm not really like thrilled with it.
That is probably it's definitely the weakest part of his well he the thing with Khabib is he's not really like a traditional control wrestler.
Right.
Like
How would you rank? Go ahead.
He's literally just like a guy. I'm going to drag you to the ground, punch you while you're there, and when you stand up, I'm gonna punch you again, and then drag you back down.
How does Khabib rank as an athlete for you guys? Relative to the fighters in his division.
Top 5.
Think so?
Yeah.
He's up there. And like he's just like, I can't say like he's the most, because it like you said, it doesn't look super flashy, but like he's so strong that like it's one of those things where like it's almost like you can have the perfect technique, but he might just overpower you. Like, and that alone just kind of puts him up there where like there are other guys who are probably they might have better cardio, maybe their technique is better, but he's just so strong that it almost can erase everything you have going for yourself once he gets a hold of you. And I think that alone, he's up there. He's up there as an athlete. Though I would say, and albeit it was like the 5th round, I think he did kind of slow down in the 5th, but I mean, it was the 5th round, so, and he was clearly winning anyway, so I don't think it made much of a difference. So I do wonder how he would do, and I think that is what will make an Alvarez fight interesting, because Alvarez is one of those guys that kind of seems like he's always in a war, but somehow he's still never tired, and like he has so much dog in him, and I think he could find his way out of the deep waters and still make it a fight, as long as he doesn't get his face pounded in like the 1st round. But yeah, I would still have him pretty high up on the athlete list.
I worry about Alvarez's swelling. He tends to swell really quickly.
Yeah, and with that ground and pound, he might yeah. I can see one of those eyes, one of those eyes filling up pretty quick.
We didn't even mention Poirier, but I think Poirier is just a bad matchup. That's not a good matchup for him.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Stoges, what did you think of this main event? Oh, what did you say? Oh, say that one more time. But you like going in and out.
Just felt like Khabib has a nice jab, but it just felt like Al was almost letting him hit him, you know? I know Al stopped like a couple of takedowns in the 3rd and 4th, but like last was on purpose, you know? That's what it felt. Does that make sense?
A little bit. It's important. I think it's important we talk about the fact that like Iaquinta has never been a good defensive fighter.
There's something about Long Island that makes it impossible for you to be a good defensive fighter, seemingly.
I mean,
Volante.
If you're from that area, you're all offense. Like that's how you survive in Long Island.
Do you think this fight reveals how little MMA fans respect the jab?
Yeah. And I think a little bit comes from just like Khabib's a grappler heavy fighter in an era where that's not really a thing anymore. Like
Sure.
you look at all the other champions, like they're all like the top 2 or 3 best strikers in the division. Like maybe Woodley doesn't fit into that, but even then, like he stood with Wonder Boy for 50 minutes and managed to hurt him multiple times. So
Old man DC.
Well, I mean, DC managed to go 5 rounds with Gus on the feet and win.
Allegedly.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying.
That fight still pisses me
Alleged.
off.
Alleged.
Nah, he won that one.
Allegedly.
I'm a
Stones,
huge
back
Gus
me
fan.
up.
Gus. Gus took the L, man. He took the L. That fight hurt my soul so much. I've never rewatched that fight.
Just be on this thing.
So
On which part? On which part?
On Gus. Well, Gus beat DC.
No.
God, jeez. Unreal trust.
you're on the island here, Joey.
I'm a big DC fan.
I'm ordering that Dillashaw Reebok shirt right now, guys.
Oh man, but that was the main
Throwing
event.
$80 for them.
Probably.
We've only
mean,
talked about one fight on this card.
Right. So let's just keep it on going. Well, luckily the prelims we might be able to get through. Well, that was some.
There were only 4 of them. If we can't get through 4 prelims in 10 minutes, then I
We'll
come
try.
back on. I might be banned for a week.
Co-main event: Rose Namajunas, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, highly anticipated rematch. Man, I rewatched this fight this morning, and I rewatched it muted. It was a really good fight, man. This was a really, really, really good fight. I will say, I don't know. Rewatching it the second time, I still gave it to Rose, but I feel like maybe a lot of these rounds might have been a bit closer than I thought they were, like when I first watched it. In real time, I had it 2-2 going in the 5th. I gave Rose the first 2. I gave Joanna 3 and 4, and then I gave Rose 5. In the rewatch, I guess I kind of had it the same. It seemed like in the first 2 rounds, really, I can't even just say first 2. I think what kind of wins Rose this fight, and I think what other opponents should definitely take note of if you're going against Joanna, good footwork and head movement go a long way. They can get you out of a lot of bad situations, because it seemed like Joanna's one of those fighters that if she can catch you with like string combinations, she's going to get you out of there. Like you're not going to have a chance. And it seemed like Rose was able to use her footwork and head movement to kind of like evade those long string combinations where maybe she might get hit with the first one or the first 2, but she'll get out of the way of that 3rd and 4th and there's nothing there, and then she's firing back. And yeah, I felt like that kind of like won her the fight. Like she was able to evade more than what, well, I can't even say that because I guess Fight Metric would tell me I'm lying, because apparently Joanna outstruck her. I don't remember what the number was, but at least that's what I heard. I'm not sure about that. I heard that Joanna outstruck her. Yeah. It was weird because like the stats say that, but like when I'm just going by the eye test, I'm just like looking at the fight and I'm just going by what I see. It didn't seem like she outstruck her that much. And to me, it seemed like, well, it might have been one of those instances where to me, Rose was landing the harder shots and maybe Joanna just had more volume. But I think Rose to me was a bit more effective with what she did land. Like her strikes just seemed to have more effect. Albeit though, Joanna definitely did good with that leg kick that started paying dividends definitely towards like the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, where Rose was not able to be as mobile as she was in the first 2, and she was kind of standing more in the way of punches. She was kind of getting hit a bit more, but I think she kind of reversed that in the 5th, and then obviously that takedown, albeit she didn't get a chance to do a ton with it, but I think that round was kind of close, and that takedown, just that little moment could probably give you enough to sway the judges. But yeah, this was a really awesome fight. Really, really close. I have to give Rose a lot of credit. Like, I remember watching her in Invicta, and like people were high on her about saying she might be like a future champ, so on and so forth. And for me, honestly, like I didn't see it. Like not that I thought she was bad, but like when I looked at her fight, it didn't jump out to me as like, oh, this is a future champ. I just thought like she's good, but she's not. But she's gotten leaps and bounds better since Invicta and like her early UFC days. You know, it's kind of crazy. Like this is the same person who fought Esparza, and then you look at this fight, and it's like this is like a completely different. Not a lot of people can go 5 rounds with Joanna standing and come out on the better end of it, and she managed to do that pretty effectively. Like she tagged Joanna a pretty good number of times, but like I said, it was a really close fight. I still edged it to Thug Rose. Yeah, man, awesome performance from her. Just really, really, really gutsy performance, especially after that third and fourth, where like I was having flashbacks of Joanna and Gadelia too, where I thought with those leg kicks she was gonna gain momentum and just steal those last 3 rounds. But yeah, I think Thug Rose did just enough in the fifth to squeak that out. But how did?
I was just gonna say, what a smart takedown at the very end, in the 5th round by Rose. I loved it. Like that's probably not like the best. That's probably not like the best like women's fight of all time, but just like based on skill, like to me, like it's hard to find 2 girls at that high of a level fighting each other, both still in their prime at their peak. Like I love that fight. Like it was just amazing.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
I can't think of another fight where we had that high of a level, from both girls. I loved it.
Yeah, no, it was a tremendous fight. Rose really stuck to a similar game plan as she did in the first fight, where she just like refused to meet Joanna on her terms. Anytime Joanna would come forward, like she just ducked out of range. As Joanna, Joanna didn't get knocked out in the first round here. She was a little bit smarter about just planting her feet and throwing, because I think Joanna, like a big factor in why Joanna thought she was just going to run away with the fight the first round, the first time around was like her opponents up to that point had been very mobile. Like it was like the best, I guess, mover among them was like Carla Esparza. Like Gadella is a powerhouse. Andrade is a powerhouse. They both like to stalk you moving forward. Valerie Letourneau, long but not very athletic. Jessica Penne, long, not very athletic. Doesn't really move very well, and we've seen the dividends of that. But here she adjusted way better towards Nunes's game. She pressured a lot more. She got in the pocket. She in the second, the third and fourth, after, like you said, with those leg kicks, really battered Nunes with those leg kicks. I didn't realize this the first time I watched it because I watched it twice. She really landed a lot. Like I think the fight metric said that she landed like 20 in the first 2 rounds to the lead leg. And it really got Namajunas to exchange with her more in the second. It slowed her down. Joanna was countering the crap out of her in those rounds too. Like anytime Namajunas was throwing a jab, she would have the right hand ready, like right over the top, and follow up with the left straight. Shouts to Trevor Whitman, because he did a fantastic job in the corner of getting Namajunas to throw combinations again. Tell her to have a little bit more confidence in the pocket. Not be afraid to throw with Joanna there. And yeah, what this shows, like, I got the mental fortitude of Rose. Like she's really grown. Where in her in the ways that like the Carolina Kowalkiewicz fight, where she just kept going to the clinch even though she was losing there because she felt like she had to win there to win the fight. Like we didn't see that part of her last night, and that's like real signs of growth. And I'm down for a rematch of that fight if that's what's next. So.
Oh, whoa, okay. You know what? There's really nothing I can say that nobody else has said here. I think you guys have all covered it pretty much perfectly. The only thing I would add is that Mike Brown did a fantastic job in Joanna's corner as well. Like that was two really great jobs from two really great camps, because Mike Brown settled Joanna down. I thought his advice was perfect. They made adjustments, and then Rose made adjustments. Like that was just a great fight with two great camps. How Joanna did not go down from that step-in uppercut in the 5th round, I have no idea. And Joanna's problem is that, like what I noticed is when she gets hit hard, her body reacts really poorly. Like when her arms flail. Like you ever see a fighter with like Benson Henderson? When he gets hit clean, it just looks awful. So in those close rounds, the person who looks like, sometimes it's like if you just look like you're getting hurt more, it can pay, like it makes a significant strike even more significant. I had Rose winning it. I watched it twice. I think Rose is the better fighter. But it's closer than I ever could have imagined. Like I thought Joanna at 115 was a bad idea. You know, I still think her future is at 125. She'll be better at 125. She doesn't seem to think so, but that was a great fight, and I'm with Stoges. I can't think of another fight. You know, Gedalia, Joanna too, kind of is in that same ballpark, but that was kind of more blood and guts. I don't think that was as technical, and at least from Claudia's perspective. And if it's Rose, Carolina too, I'm fine with that. If it's Rose, Andrade, I'm really okay with that.
Yeah, that's the one I want to see.
And I
think that's the one.
I'd be remiss because I keep track of this. 115 continues to really struggle to get people to finish fights. And I mean, it just does. Like because when people talk about women's MMA, it's like, oh, they never finish. And it's like 135, there are finishes aplenty. 125 so far has had quite a few finishes. 115 has really hit a slide. And so I think that's why Mackenzie Dern's important, because she is a fight finisher. And not only that, but the top 5 in this division and everybody else is so, like, there's a gap now. Like, Rose, Carolina, Joanna, Andrade, and then I would go Tisha Torres. Some people might go Esparza. But there's, like, those 5, and then there's everybody else. And until, like the depth in that division is going to need to be refilled a little bit.
Yeah. I think Suarez is going to be that, like, somebody who's going to be fighting these types of fighters really soon.
Suarez, Grasso, I mean, the winner of that fight, but, like, I hate that fight, but whatever, we can do.
Yeah. And Livia Henaya Souza. Like, I think those are the two that we're going to see break into the top 5 next.
I mean, if Joanna leaves, sure. But I don't know if Souza... I like Souza a lot, but I don't know if she would beat anybody in that top 5. Right now. I don't think she...
The climb is steep. The climb is steep in that top 5.
It is, and it's like I could see... No, to back up his point, I could see Souza beating just about everybody else. I could see her giving Tisha Torres some trouble.
Yeah.
But this is still the same person who got beat by Angela Hill.
True.
Fighters grow.
But yeah, co-main event, awesome fight. Guess heading on down, Hanato Moicano, Calvin. I always say, is it Cater or
Cater.
Qatar? I always want to say Qatar. Oh, what are you gonna say?
That fight.
Him.
That fight made me realize, like, how much.
How much who?
Oh, I was just gonna say, that fight just made me realize I love wrestling. I really haven't had like a favorite women's MMA fighter since like how much I love Rose.
I mean, you don't well, trying to think of who else you would even root for.
I haven't really had like the MMA fighters. That's it.
No, I agree. And in a fair and just world, it should be a star.
Yeah. I just appreciate her like so much more now.
This fight almost felt bad for Cater because like he had a pretty solid first round, and then it seemed like after the first everything went wrong. Like, because I think he tagged Moicano a couple times in the first, and he was pressuring him. He was doing pretty good, and then from like second to third, man, Moicano, like, Jesus Christ, he picked this dude apart. That inside leg kick was just money all the time. Now, like, there was one point where like he landed the inside leg kick. I think Cater switched stances, and he just proceeds to batter the other leg, like just non-stop, just leg killing. Like his nerves are probably dead, I imagine, this morning whenever he woke up. Yeah, really, kind of like technical standing match. But Moicano, yeah, he picked him apart in this second and third round. And he, once again, I love fighters who throw in combination, especially like he would throw in combination. He would end with like a leg kick or a body kick. Like he was really just punishing Cater. But I mean, they had some back and forth moments, but yeah, and then in the third round especially, man, Moicano just he hit like the Goku Ultra Instinct and just kind of just let loose, and it was beautiful to watch. But my God, that leg was in shambles by the end of that fight. But yeah, really good showing from Moicano. This fight kind of went how I thought, though. I didn't think Cater was gonna get. I don't want to say dominated. I feel like it's kind of harsh, but. Yeah, like I didn't think I thought it would be a bit more back and forth because I thought it started back and forth, but yeah, it just seemed like the pain got it. He just kind of put it on him in that third. I didn't think it was gonna be that like I didn't think it was gonna go that one-sided kind of that quick, but great fight from Moicano. Really good performance. Leg kicks solve a lot of problems. Throughout this card, so yeah, that fight was pretty fun.
Like Moicano is low key one of my favorite featherweights. Like since the day he stepped like in the octagon, like he's been so clean off the back foot with his kickboxing game. It takes a really long time to be a really good striker moving backwards. Like especially if you're a counter fighter, Moicano's a little bit more aggressive than that. But it takes a long time to build those reactions, and that's because it's a lot. I want to say it's a lot easier to get on the inside, but like in MMA, you're eventually going to end up at like somewhere close to your opponent. Like there are not a lot of guys who put a lot of time in the gym learning how to fight out long range, moving backwards. So when Moicano stepped into like to fight was it Tom Niamaki?
Yeah.
Niamaki.
Yeah. Wow.
Like he was so like a guy with 10 fights in his like career should not be that smooth when it comes to like when you're kickboxing like that. So like it's kind of we were talking about the rankings, like he's ranked number 11, but he beat Jeremy Stevens like a year ago.
Once you're in, like I feel like once you're in the top 10, you're in the top 10 forever till you die. Like because I think Anthony Pettis was still like top 10 at lightweight when he was fighting at featherweight, like until you're deceased.
He's number 12 by lightweight right now.
We're not getting into that.
Yeah, but Moicano's ranked below Rodriguez, and I think he beat Rodriguez, to be honest. Like he is ridiculously good, and it sucks Like I think I heard a few boos last night.
They booed during the second round, from what I remember completely. Like from
Yeah.
But like he really turned it up in the third round. The one thing that's gonna get like that has gotten him in the past is that he's not a very good. It's not that he doesn't deal with pressure good, but once you close the distance on him, like he starts to get a little angsty, and gets, he that's what forced the takedown against Brian Ortega. I had him up 2 rounds to nothing, and Ortega just refused to get out of his face. Like he refused to be scared off by any of his power or any of his kicks, and just really kept to him. We didn't get that. We didn't get a test of that like last night. I'm not sure who really he could fight that would like test that part of him. Like it's like Elkins, if you really want to do that. But that was like a really good win.
Actually, God, I had it pulled up and I missed it. Sherdog always does the matches to make.
Stokes.
I was trying to see who they were gonna match.
Stokes, you want to go next, or you want me to do this one?
Oh, I was having a cigarette outside for this fight, so I don't got much to say.
Oh, this is perfect because I missed the third round. So here's the story. I'll get the story and then I'll get to the fight. So second round ends. I'm like, Moicano's up 2-0. I'll just go and pee real quick. So I go to pee, and my sister is watching. I left something on TV, and she's watching something, and I hear her go, recreational chainsawing. So I'm like, what? So I go out, and she's watching like a poker thing. And apparently one of the dude's hobbies was recreational chainsawing. So it's like, what is recreational chainsawing? I've never heard of that. So I pulled my phone out, and I'm Googling recreational chainsawing just to see what it is. And it's like people just cut wood. Like it's just, you just use a chainsaw. So I'm like reading about recreational chainsawing. And then I'm like, that's a stupid hobby. And then I stopped and thought everything that had happened this week in this sport of this hobby that I follow. And I had like a life crisis for like 2 minutes. And I went back in to watch the rest of the fight, and the fight was over. So I don't know what happened in the third round. Because I had a crisis because of recreational chainsawing.
Just imagine the...
Is recreational chainsawing our new marble racing?
I don't know, man. Marble racing's pretty...
It's intense.
I just didn't understand. I'm like, that's a stupid ass hobby. You go out and cut some wood. Like that's makes you feel better about yourself. And then I was like, man,
I thought like recreational chainsawing would be like ice sculpting or something.
Wood sculpting. That was my thought. Like you take a chainsaw and you like figures. But it's no, you just go out and you cut logs down. And I'm just like, that doesn't make no damn sense. So I missed the whole third round.
Some people are just boring, man.
I guess some people just follow things. They do things that don't involve this.
It's like, it's like you got a chainsaw. What else can I do with this? I have to put it to use somehow. So.
Yeah. Ortega's really good. Brian Ortega's really good. Watching that fight, the first 2 rounds at least, all I could think was like, Ortega's so good. Because Moicano's so good. And if you attack Moicano on a straight line, he has no problem with that. If you're gonna come in and attack him straight up, he's just gonna leg kick you combinations, and he gets out. He gets out of space so well. And it's like Cater just came in a straight line. He would pick him apart from distance. Cater tries to close the distance, and Moicano would find a way out. Ortega would attack from angles, and he went to the body more than Cater was willing to go to the body too. And I just watched that. Like Brian Ortega is such a great fighter, and Moicano is such a great fighter, and I don't see why people boo him. And I didn't see why people booed that performance. It was a great performance. Cater, I know it was a pro Cater crowd, but still, it didn't seem right.
I think it has something to do with the next fight.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think people were coming off a bloodthirst high.
It's impossible, but like I guess all I can think of is Moicano's really great. Like Ortega's amazing, and Moicano, like those are 2 guys who are gonna rule this division when Holloway makes the final move up. And this guy as well, who we're going to talk about in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, recreational change, man.
I'll look into it.
It's just a bunch of
But,
God forgive me. It's just a bunch of white dudes cutting wood. It's basically all it is.
do they make like? But like, is there? Well, it's recreation. I was gonna say, can you make like a competition out of this
I
somehow?
bet you. If we find a log cutting competition, I think we all have to watch it.
Yes.
There's got to be one.
Hold on.
There's got to be
Who
somebody
has
out
the
there.
best? It's like who has the best chainsaw build? Like who can cut the wood the fastest?
Wood cutting competition. There is a wood cutting
Do they have
simulator.
Do they have like designer chainsaws?
I just didn't get like
They're like
he's
a-
just like, yeah, you know, it's like
It's like the
it's supposed to be a hobby. Oh Lord, there are
That sounds like one. They're competitive. They are.
World Rookie Championships Lumberjacks. Timber Sports.
Oh boy. Sponsored by Bass Pro Shops or something. I don't know.
Cabela.
Oh man. Yeah, we got to check that out. We got to.
This is almost as good as when I found that like and like what was it that I sent you? The like Canadian
The Canadian Underground Fight League.
What is
Oh my
this?
god. So imagine you had beef with somebody and your job was as an I don't know, an undertaker, and they were like your mailman. So you put on some boxing gloves and you show up into this arena with like 150 people, and they announce you as the Undertaker versus the mailman.
one of them was like what was it, like Greenpeace against the Lumberjack?
Oh my god.
Well, the dude didn't want his wife to know that he was walking out with the ring girl, so he refused to use his real name. That's what that was.
Oh my god.
Tioga County, I was not that far from. It is a lumberjack competition. Wildcat
You have
knife
to be
cutting.
you have to be our correspondent.
Oh man, I'm gonna
Live stream it.
Right.
keep a close eye on. There is speed carving championships.
I mean, there's tractor pulling competitions. Like, of course, this is.
So I guess I have to ask the important question, which is, could the lumberjack champion beat Pujanowski in the weightlifting champ or the strongman champion?
He would be Poobs in the cage.
I mean, yeah, he has a chainsaw.
Well, I mean, not well. Okay, fine. Okay, so he has the chainsaw, and then Puds has the like the sledgehammer that you hit the tire with.
Oh, now that's a fight. That is some God of War type.
We just
I'm
created a
paying
whole
good money
sport.
for that.
Why are we not having Pujanowski just fight random dudes who are big, like from other non-martial arts?
The springboard chop. I wonder if the springboard chop is like, because in wrestling the springboard is when you hop up to the top rope, but not the turnbuckle. So I wonder if the springboard chop is like you get off a trampoline and have to chop down.
We're throwing out so many free ideas that we just need to.
Poobs will walk out with Triple H, and Triple H will hand him his personal sledgehammer.
The gimmick sledgehammer. This is officially.
But it's got to be like with Floyd Mayweather, where they'll say Justin Bieber's name, but they won't say Triple H.
Oh boy.
The axe throw.
This is the evolution of the M1 Midnight. The
Dude, I'm
fight.
down.
This is the next step.
Yo! So, Battle of the Nations, only 1 month away, y'all.
Oh my.
Oh. Definitely gotta give shout out.
I
to
would
that.
pitch something, but the last time I pitched something, somebody almost died in SFL, so I'm not. Makes no sense.
I mean, did I bring up the fact that like the American team sucks on Battle of the Nations?
Oh yeah, we're. I think we go into that thinking like it's all fun and games, and we don't realize that these other countries.
Oh yeah,
are
no,
really,
they're about it. The
yeah,
Ukraine is
they're really about this. Like you show up thinking, oh, I'm just gonna have a good time. No, you're gonna get stabbed in your sternum.
2014 men's international wood chopping relay team.
Oh my god.
Yes.
It runs deep. This will be an Olympic.
Meanwhile,
sport
we got like
sometime.
6 fights left to talk about. We officially.
Yeah, let's
What-
yeah,
what-
let's-
I mean,
and this next one is really, it is of importance. This is the next one. he's worth a good segment.
Sensei, you run through that while I watch this European chainsaw speed carving competition.
So this next fight, and this is the only positive, if you can even say, that some of the fights being canceled. The only good thing I think that came out of this is Zabit got a chance to elevate to the main card, which I was really excited about. So Zabit Magomed Sharipov versus Kyle Bochniak. Another fight on this card that was just amazing to watch. Kyle Bochniak is a maniac / machine / something's really wrong with this guy, but I like watching him fight, so it's okay. Like, the man is just a bloodthirsty, like, just no regard for human life. But it made this fight so awesome. And Zabit, man, this guy is... How many fights does Zabit have?
15, 16.
His like... How do I even say this? He fights with a calm of, like, he's been doing this for, like, 20 plus years. Like, he fights like he's been doing this since he was, like, a child, and he just seems very well aware of what's going on when he's in the cage. Everything he does just seems to work. Like, timing is perfect, distance is perfect, because, like, you look at a lot of his flashy techniques, and I mean, you could say, oh, he's just showing off, but, like, to me, like, he knows when to pull those flashy moves off, and, like, albeit not all of them landed. Like, he tried that little capoeira kick. I think Bochniak kind of got out of the way of that one, but, like, there was a point where he had landed, like, a spinning back kick, and it was just perfect timing. Like, this dude is so great at, I don't really know how to describe it. Like, you just have to watch it. Like, his striking is just on another level. And I think it works also because it's not like he's going in there just winging 200 punches a minute. Like, it's calculated, but it's still flashy. But, like, it works. And it's accurate. And then, you know, the hands are one thing. And then, like, in the second round, he'll switch it to the grappling. He can still take you down. He did a beautiful leg sweep. I can't remember which round it was. Might have been the second. Beautiful leg sweep that just kind of happened out of nowhere. And he lands this leg sweep. This guy's something special, man. This guy is a really, really special talent. The fight was awesome, though. Like I said, a lot of Bochniak spent a lot of this fight kind of eating a lot of shots, but it didn't matter because he was so game. He was always pushing forward. It just seemed like he was outgunned Arsenal-wise because Bochniak did land some hard strikes. I want to say he caught Zabit with a good one, I think, in the third round. But it just kind of seems like Bochniak just kind of only had hands, you know. I can wing some overhand rights, or I'll land a flurry here and there. But Zabit just has such a complete arsenal of just punches, kicks, elbows, spinning kicks, capoeira kicks. If that's not working, I can take you down and beat you up down there. Like, he's great just everywhere. Like, you're never safe. Like, no matter what position you're in, the dude has something for you. And God help you if you're standing, because I don't think a lot of people, like, Bochniak just seems like one of those guys. Like, there aren't a lot of people walking on earth like that can just kind of take that kind of punishment. I think anybody other than Bochniak, Zabit probably would have got him out of there. Like, Bochniak's just one of those dudes that I think he was just put on this earth to fight, and that's just kind of like his thing. He's gonna do that until his body tells him he can't anymore. But my God, man, Zabit, that dude, man, I see why a lot of people aren't. Nobody's chopping at the bit to fight this guy. You look at him and he's, like, physically unassuming, and then you watch him fight, and it's like, yeah, I can see why he has trouble getting fights, because nobody wants these. Nobody wants this problem. You don't want to. You don't want to be in front of this, man. This guy's He's gonna get you out of there, and he's gonna take whatever. And because he's not. Is he ranked?
Nah.
No.
Yeah, if he fights a ranked guy, he's getting you out of there, man. He's taking your ranking, he's taking your fans, he's taking your soul. I see why people are ducking him, man. Nobody wants that, and I love Yair Rodriguez. I'm anxiously awaiting his return, and I know Zabit called him out. But from what I understand, I think Yair has a fight. He hasn't said who it is, but he's already under contract for another fight. He just hasn't announced it. But I love Yair, but unless Yair has got like some god level boxing between the last time we saw him and now, I don't think he wants these problems, man. I think I think Zabit cleans Yair up, and I love Yair to death, but Zabit is the real deal, man. His ranking isn't top 15, but he's easily top 15. I don't think that's a question. But yeah, this dude's amazing, man. This guy's a pleasure to watch.
In the backstage interview after the fight, Zabit said like he had a broken hand. I can't remember if he said it was before the fight or it was like in the first round, but he did all of that with a broken hand.
Lord. That might explain why he was throwing switch kicks. that switch kick was beautiful. Man, this guy, he's like a real life Tekken character.
Yeah.
Like in true form.
Oof. I'm watching her the replay of the highlights from it right now, and I can't remember where I saw it, but like yeah, he looks like your dungeon master in your D&D game woke up one day.
Can we get this man a haircut, please?
Yeah, it just turns out he's an elite level athlete. God.
Where is he from? Is he from ACB or M1?
ACB, I think.
Yeah, he was from ACB.
Like Russia really has that incubator of talent where like guys come in and they're ready to fight because they already had 15 fights at like solid level of competition, fighting in fight nights or ACB or M1 or what's the other one? Tech Prep.
Yeah.
Like you look at the dudes on Zabit's like Fight Finder, like he's been beating like high level dudes for a minute now. There's not really a whole bunch I can say that you didn't say, Sensei. Dude is composed beyond his years.
He fights like a guy who comes from a war-torn nation, which, sure enough.
Right.
I'm being serious. Like, he fights like a dude who has really seen some, like, this is nothing to him.
Dude, like when the Dagestani fighters first came over, like when Khabib first got signed, that was the one thing we always heard about them. Like, they're a different breed of guys. They've probably seen some dudes get murdered right in front of them.
Probably been fighting grown men since they were like 7, 8 years old. Like,
actually, I think I saw a Khabib quote when they asked him about the Dolly incident. He was like, I used to see our government shoot people in helicopters over my neighborhood. Like, this is just fighting. Like, like this is nothing. This is childish.
Yeah, like this shit is nothing compared to the stuff they had to deal with just to like grow up.
yeah, I mean, like this is they're all real poised and composed because like this is
I mean, like, yeah,
an unfortunate benefactor of some horrible living conditions.
Right, and this is part of the reason why like most of the fighters you see who become like really great are I hate the typecast, but like they come from like nothing.
Yeah,
because the mental fortitude it takes to be an elite level fighter, to have this level of composure, is abnormal. It's something that you have to be like you're not born with, but like you have to live through.
Yeah, you can't teach that.
Yeah, you can't teach that level of composure to, Joe Blow, who grew up in the suburbs or something.
Right.
Jesus. I mean, it's true.
Some guy who just.
I mean, it's true. Like I'm currently sitting in the suburbs right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that smoke. I don't want any of those problems. Yeah.
I mean, Sensei nailed it. What can you say? I think I remember the part where Bosniak's corner gave him fantastic advice throughout the fight, but it's like, what can you really tell a guy who's getting blown out like this? But they were trying,
Right.
and they gave him a combination, and he threw it. And I think this is what you were talking about, where Zabit just steps back and throws a perfect spinning back kick that catches him right as he's coming in.
Yeah.
And it hits
Right.
Bosniak right in the face, and Bosniak somehow walks through it. Kyle Bosniak was like, you remember the meme of the kid getting hit with the basketball and he just keeps screaming?
Yeah.
Like, that is what he was, because there were so many moments where Zabit would nail him flush and he would just yell at him and punch himself in the face.
And then let's say the end of the fight, they kind of did their own rendition of Holloway and Lamas.
Yeah. He tried that earlier, and Zabit just kicked him and was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Bosniak tried that fake Dominic Cruz stuff early, and it was like, that's not gonna work. And then he just bit down and went try it. He tried, man. Like, I have so much respect for Kyle Bosniak.
Oh yeah. Like,
Yeah, dude is a warrior. Dude has that's a chin. If there ever was.
and you guys remember his debut fight against Rosa, where Rosa just pounded on him.
Yeah.
And he just refused to stop coming forward.
How do you market a guy like Zabit though?
Yeah,
This is the problem when you have guys who have 13-letter last names.
And they come from regions people can't point out on a map. You know.
Yeah.
I posted about this fight on Facebook, and my friend commented. He said his last name is longer than my entire name, even if you add the junior.
No, but it's true. But it's like, he's so good. Like, how do you market a guy like that?
I think they need this. You know what? I don't know. That might be very Bellatorish. Not throw that out in the ethos.
I mean, I was gonna say the Sergey Kovalev. I'm trying to think a boxing equivalent of a guy who's done well in the U.S. money wise. But
man, if he talks like Kovalev, we're gonna have some. Actually, if he talks like Kovalev, he might fit in with this fan base sometimes.
Yeah. But I can't think of a successful Russian who came over here and made a whole bunch of money.
I mean, Fedor, but Fedor was big, so it's like big.
Yeah, and Fedor made his name fighting in Japan.
Right.
So
I mean, it's not like he's a rough looking fella, so it's not like you're not gonna Luke Rockhold him. Although I'd love to see them try, but I don't know. He's so good.
Does Zabit have any hobbies? Does he do anything? Is he actually a dungeon master for D&D?
See, I was gonna kind of go that route. You gotta start marketing some of these guys they're I don't know, they're superheroes or something. These guys do some real life this is real life movie action type stuff that you thought you would only see on a screen. This is only supposed to be in the Matrix.
Yeah, he's for real.
It's
for real.
Yeah, but no, this is Neo in the flesh.
Because his timing is so amazing, and the stuff he does. I just don't know what you do with it. Because to get him to fight, to get him those fights that he needs, unless you just force those guys to take those fights, he probably needs a ranking, and he probably needs some momentum. And I don't know if you can. I don't know how you develop that now, because he doesn't talk. He's not a
Did he even speak English?
I don't
think so.
I know he works with Mark Henry, and he spent time at Nick Catone's gym, but I don't know if he actually speaks English.
I don't know. I didn't think Maribek Tyson spoke English, and then he was perfectly fine when they,
Yeah, I don't know. Do you try to make him a big deal in Europe?
Well, one thing that they did say, I should have mentioned this, but the presser, Dana said if they go to Russia, they will not have Khabib on the first Russian card.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They're going to do a fight without Khabib. So can you headline with Zabit?
I mean, I'm trying to think of who else they have from Russia.
Olenek? Oh, no, Olenek's not Russian, is he?
He's Ukrainian, I think.
Ukrainian.
Artem.
I don't know.
Artem, yeah.
Artem versus Zabit.
Oh, there we go.
One,
The-
Russia.
No, they tried to
fight-
make that, and Kavanaugh was like, no. Nah, man.
Good job, Kavanaugh. Save your guy a life he could have lost.
I doubt Artem would have turned that fight down.
He agreed to it. Apparently, he said he agreed to it, and his camp said no. So he's like,
They had to save him from
I
himself.
mean, that's what they're there for.
Yeah.
Some camps.
I wouldn't be mad if you threw Zabit on like a Fox card and let him headline. Give him like a.
I mean, but like,
Korean. Where's Korean Zombie? What's he doing now?
Zombies are
CL.
no. Zabit would. Ooh, no.
Give him
I mean, to be honest, I think he does that to most.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I'm looking at the top 15. All right, I'm pretty sure he's not gonna get Doo Hoo Choi. I don't think that fight gonna happen. I think Zabit would wash Miles Jury. Cater just lost. Bektik, that could be cool, but I think he's tied up right now. He's got to fight. Can't do Moicano. I like the Yair fight, but Yair's saying he's already got something lined up. So then that leaves you with what? Elkins, Korean Zombie, Lamas, Emmett, who's coming off a loss. You know,
Jeremy Stevens would probably take that fight.
he would.
It doesn't make sense for him to take
Stevens
it.
would fight it. It doesn't, but he would. He'd fight anyway.
You know who's not ranked, but probably should be? Andre Feely.
Yeah, he's
Don't
had a
do
little
that.
streak.
that.
See, I don't.
So wait,
Does
we
that?
were okay when we were throwing Emmett to the wolves, but when Felix came up, it was like,
that's the line.
Like, I'd say
That's the line.
Bermudez, but Bermudez is out the rankings because he's on a 3-fight losing streak.
that normally doesn't get you bounced from the rankings. So he must have pissed somebody off. He needs to get a better manager.
Yeah. Oh man, we'll see though. But yeah, I see why you guys are ducking Zabit. If you're ignoring that phone call when it happens, I get it. I
Like,
understand.
I'm 100% sure Elkins will take the fight.
Yeah, I think he would. Too.
Maybe his manager's like no, but
What are you, stupid?
I mean,
The way Elkin fights goes, man, he'll catch a switch the first round and end up winning by submission. I'm almost scared of that fight. The damage is real, man.
I don't know, Michael
Make-
He's
Johnson.
drawn.
Oh my God, Michael Johnson.
Johnson. Nah, I don't know. I think Elkins took a part of him that he's not gonna get back for a while. We'll see though. Whoever he fights next, I'm in front of the TV. I'm definitely
What about
there.
Josh Emmett?
Stokes didn't care. He was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
I
mad
don't
at that.
mind. Like,
I'm good with it. And I think that could headline. Like that's a headline that I think people will watch. I'd
Yeah.
do that.
I'm fine with them taking it.
I think, well, real quick before we go to the next fight, if Emmett comes there with that like Uriah Faber style type fighting, where I'm just gonna leap in and throw this overhand, he's gonna get that fight's not gonna go too well for him. I don't know.
I assume Yair's gonna be on that Chicago card because he's from like Chicago, right?
He trains with what's his name?
Izzy Martinez?
Yeah. How about your
We'll
boy
see.
Anti-Cool? What's his name? Can't remember his name now.
Shane Burgos?
Enrique Barzola.
See, I'm tight. Because Enrique Barzola is still on the prelims. And Kyle Bosniak is on the freaking main card.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you.
But I believe in Enrique Barzola.
Oh, I meant to throw out. This is kind of random. Because I know we mentioned it before. Leonardo Santos is back. I saw he has a fight.
Oh
lined
God,
up.
who's he fighting? I can't remember.
God, who was it?
Is it Kevin?
I was like, oh, he's back from the dead because they hadn't given him a fight in like ages.
When was his last fight?
3 years ago, maybe.
Yes, it's been a
No, it was,
it's been a bit of.
Bisping Henderson 2, which was October 16.
Yeah.
Where am I lying? I thought I saw he had.
No,
a fight.
I saw it too, so I know you're not making it up.
He definitely has one. I cannot. Before the end of the show, I'm gonna figure out who it is. This next fight.
It's a sad one.
Can I request that one of you guys? I don't want to talk about this. Like, this was the one fight when I looked on the card, and I was like, I don't want to watch this. I don't want any parts of this fight. And this fight went the way I kind of thought it would. In a way, it almost went a bit worse. I'm glad his corner. Did his corner stop it or did the ref stop it?
His
I don't know.
corner.
Whoever.
I believe.
His corner. Good on them, man. And I think we've had that discussion before also. I wish more corners would do that. Like, listen, man, when your guy's out there, like, getting battered, and it's clear that, like, he's just not going to win. Like, just get him out there. Let him live to fight another day. But, yeah, I don't really want to talk about this fight. If you guys have any thoughts, you can. I don't care to elaborate on this really at all. No disrespect to
Thank
what's the guy's name? What did you say?
Grutzmacher.
Yeah, Grutzmacher. Because he went out there and did what he had to do. He administered a beating.
Thank
that
you
was
to
that
Joe
fight.
Lozon. Thank you to Joe Lozon for all the great fights throughout the year. And good time to call it quits now.
Yeah, that was kind of my sentiments after this. Like, yeah, I think he's been through so many wars, and it's like, dude, I just think your body, I don't think you can take this anymore. Like, especially fighting the way he fights. Like, I could see if he adjusted his style, but the way he fights, it's just like you can only have but so many of those before your body's just like, all right, man, it's time to shut it down. And I think he's hit that point. But
Yeah.
you guys have any other any other
I mean,
thoughts?
that was all really well said. I don't think he's going to retire.
Future Hall of Famer. Future Hall of Famer.
What's his number of fight bonuses?
He should be in there for the fight bonuses. Yeah. I just don't think he's going to retire. I think he'll wind up in Bellator. or you know what though? Like, CES MMA is in his backyard. If he wants to have maybe a send-off fight there against a lower level guy to go out on a win, then okay. But like, I don't see the point.
Watch Joe Lozon go to the fight in Ryzen.
Nah, come on now. Although,
Takanori Gomi, Joe Lozon. Again.
Oh no!
come on, man. I wouldn't mind seeing Lozon Aoki in like a grappling competition. Like, that would be interesting. But yeah, I don't want to see him fight. I don't want to. It's uncomfortable now.
Yeah. That entire like second round was just like, I don't need to.
Yeah, like, it's just really
I
uncomfortable.
cannot find this Santos fight.
Okay,
It's really
so I
pissing me
looked it
off.
up. I was gonna hold it off for the end. Santos was supposed to fight James Krause, but Krause is hurt, so he's not fighting.
Oh my
So he's gonna have
god!
to fight. Yeah, he's gonna have to fight someone else.
Jesus Christ!
But I believe that was scheduled for July, so who knows? Plenty of time.
Sorry, I lied to you guys. The fight was real at one
I
point.
just confirmed it's real. It was real, and then it just.
Yeah, it was real. It was real, and it was taken
With
away.
Lozon,
And then it wasn't.
and then it wasn't.
Right.
Also, real quick, so we don't forget it, shout out to the UFC for putting Bruce Denal into their Hall of Fame. Longtime producer, died recently, so good for them. Good move.
Yeah.
Just stop fighting, Joe.
All
We
right.
love you. Everybody loves, like, nobody has a bad word to say about Joe Lozon, but
Right. We're concerned.
right, become like
Yes.
you know what he would probably be really good at for the UFC is like give him one of those like nog jobs, like the big nog kind of Forrest Griffin job. You know what I mean? Like, give him one of those retirements.
Like, do they still do that anymore? Like, they did it for Nog because he's in Brazil, but like.
I mean, maybe not, but you could still use Lozon as like a representative and ambassador of the brand. I think the problem was that Liddell and Hughes were making like serious money, like really big money,
Yeah.
and apparently neither of them took it seriously. I believe that, you know, because Forrest Griffin got the same gig, but everybody says Forrest is like a really hard worker, so yeah.
I think Lozano will be fine after fighting. He seems like a really smart guy. Like, I'm pretty sure after fighting.
He's got a gym, I believe, that's successful. He's got some fighters on the card, I believe, as well. Like he has.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have like a degree in like computer programming?
Yeah, but
he's a really smart guy. Like,
you know. Nah, I like, how do I put that? Like, how long ago was that? Like, is that still even applicable?
I mean, he's only 31.
Not from that perspective, but just like technology's advanced so much. Like,
he'll go learn how to code or something. He'll be alright. I think he will. He'll figure it out.
Let him run fight pass.
Dude, he probably could do that. He could do that. I don't know. They tried him as a commentator on CES, I believe, and he wasn't too great at it. But he could probably like get better at it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there are worse commentators. I won't throw anybody's
No,
name
go ahead.
out
Go ahead,
there,
let's hear it.
Who's on Bellator now? Their cards are getting increasingly harder to listen to.
Are they?
I mean, no, Big John's cool. I actually do like Big John on commentary. I hate Chael on commentary. I despise Chael on commentary. Chael's become like insufferable.
Well, because he's like the problem with putting guys like, because I listened to him do a few other cards, and he's like, it always comes back to him. So.
What? Sean Grande was on like that Friday Bellator card, right? That was him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he came back for a what
I
was
thought they fired him.
A charity thing.
Yeah, he came back for a charity thing.
Like I want to say some kid he knows has like a disease, and he was taking the money that he used from that was going to go to the kid.
Oh, that's fair. Good guy.
Lozon would probably be better than Jens Pulver. I mean, no disrespect to Jens, but Jens is like a fan watching a fight. Like, he just like, I don't know if you've ever heard Jens Pulver do commentary, but he just like turns into like a dude watching.
I imagine that's what I would be. That's why I couldn't.
I can't remember what fight it was. They had him on like a Fedor card, and just randomly in the middle of one of the fights, he's just like, "Ooh, I love it!" Like he just lost his mind during a combination and just stopped calling the fight and just started marking out.
Oh man, I'm such a hypocrite. I'm bashing commentators, but I know if I commentate, I'd be terrible. I'd be so biased.
Well, I mean,
it wouldn't.
You guys
know
Nate Robinson, right?
Yeah.
He is such a terrible commentator, but I can't stop listening because it's so fucking funny.
I would absolutely. There's got to be like a Nate Robinson commentary highlight reel somewhere on YouTube.
Oh, dude, he's done like 3 or 4 games this season, and they've all been great. He was a Jens Pulver of basketball commentary.
Let's see. I can find. Sensei, you've never done commentary before?
I don't think I could do live commentary. I don't think it would work out.
What about? We'll find out. Maybe what we'll do is we'll send you one of these. They weren't even bare knuckle, right? They were like glove. We'll send you one of these amateur throwdowns by few dudes, and you can dub over commentary.
Oh boy. I would get fired. Or I would either get fired my first day, or they would keep me for shock value because I would just be out of control. Because if the guy I'm rooting for is losing, I'm definitely feeling some kind of way.
I think we just created the next Macho Man CD request. Now you got to do commentary on. Let's
see, this week was so hectic that we couldn't get to your unfair review of.
Yeah, I got some complaints.
Oh, you guys don't know how hard that was.
I mean, I've listened to it 3 times, so you can't complain.
I got a bootleg of that when I was a kid. When I was like 13, when it came out, somebody went to Jamaica, Queens to get a bootleg of Be a Man.
Oh my god.
I'm mad that somebody in Jamaica, Queens in 2003.
He was selling other bootleg DVD related to that.
Oh god.
I'm pretty sure the album went gold.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that it probably did pretty good numbers.
Triple
I will not.
At least had to be.
I won't doubt it. pre-streaming there, he probably did.
But I mean, you also have to now that you've opened the floodgates, we got to get you to review the original CD, which is like 15 wrestler songs of them all singing.
Oh, the wrestlers do their own thing.
No, they did actual they made songs.
Oh no! Oh god!
Wait,
Or we got to get that Joe Pesci rap. We got to get your opinion on that.
wait. Did John Moraga
Joe
ever
Pesci
do?
rap?
I'm sorry. Did Chicano John ever drop a mixtape or something?
Oh no!
I'm sure it's
boy.
I'm sure it's out there.
Chicano John. I'll look that up after we finish.
Oh man, you made a reference that nobody gets. Unfortunate. Or did we? Oh no, we didn't. We're good.
I mean, if you listen to
Definitely,
this show, you don't know who Chicano John is.
I'm just saying I need Sensei's opinion on that Kurt Angle rap.
Oh my god.
I feel like I heard that and like I don't remember, but I don't remember it. I don't know if I want. I can't look it up now. It's probably gonna make me feel some kind
You
of
have to
way.
listen to the Kurt Angle rap, and then you have to listen to Sexy Kurt.
We're
Oh,
gonna keep
man.
lumping them in.
Why are there so many wrestlers who do what? Macho Man opened the floodgate that like.
He really did, because I think originals came out like 2 years after.
Oh,
And who else? Oh my god. Although neither, I think Joe Pesci is the best of all non-rappers rapping.
How does Hulk Hogan not have like an album or something?
Dude, he does.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
But it's like 90s. Oh my god, no, Hulk Hogan does have a rap.
Yes.
I want to be a Hulkamaniac.
If he did,
I'm serious. Yeah, I'm kidding. And then like it's like the worst song ever. It's like the worst album ever. And then like the Macho Man one, there's a tribute to a dead person, so you can't really like laugh at it anymore.
Well, hold on though. Did the Hogan one come before or after the Macho Man?
It came before, but it's like how do I put this? Dude, you should listen to it right. My god, if we had time, I would tell you to listen to it right now. It's like early 90s, but it's jazzercise rap. Because it's like the beat is literally like something you would hear out of like a workout video. It's like an aerobics video. So he's like rapping over the lamest.
This is why Macho Man dissed you.
Let me see. Hold on. Can I remember the lyrics? I think it was like always go swimming with a buddy and work real hard and always study, something like that. Let me see.
Oh no. No, Chicano John gets play over that any day. I don't know if Hulk Hogan might not make it to the playlist.
It's on here. It's on YouTube.
Oh Lord. After we record, I will plunge into the world of wrestler rap.
You already plunged in. Now it's like.
Oh yeah, I did. I dived
like
in.
black tar now. It's in your veins. It's never going away.
It's like
Oh
wrestling.
boy.
And MMA,
Right. All right, so these next couple of fights. All right, two of these I remember. The other two I don't remember as much because I'd not rewatched them. But Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Sorry, I know I butchered that. And Felice Herrig. I feel like I owe Karolina an apology. I thought Felice was going to pull off this win, and I realized after about the first round that it was not. What I had in my head did not translate to what happened in the real world.
That's life, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, thoughts of this fight. Don't clinch with Karolina. It will not go well for you. If you clinch with Karolina, you will get elbowed repeatedly, you will get kneed repeatedly, and just bad things are gonna happen. I guess for some reason in this fight, I thought Felice, in no way I thought she was gonna be able to hang on the feet. But I thought maybe like she'd be able to work in her grappling more and like, I don't know, kind of just like gut out maybe like a really close fight, maybe take a split decision, which I'm not sure how this fight went to split decision, but that's another story. But boy, Karolina just kind of I mean, Felice made it competitive. It's not like she wasn't doing anything, but you got the sense of who was winning this fight, who wasn't. Yeah, I think I said this when we did our women's dedication episode. Hint, you guys should check that out. But when Carolina's on her A game, like it's a beautiful thing to watch. Like just really good clinch work, really like crisp striking. Just everything is on point. All cylinders are firing. That nice sweep she did for that moment where they did hit the ground, like that was really cool to see. Yeah, man, Carolina was just on point this entire fight. And like I said, just her clinch work is just crazy. Like the elbows and knees that she punishes people with for clinching is wild to watch. So yeah, I thought Felice was gonna pull this off, but I guess she'll have to wait another day. But I mean, albeit she had a good streak going, I don't think this is a loss. Like, you know, it's not like she's done or anything, but she ran into some stiff competition, and kind of like we said, man, the top 5 of this division, man, it's a steep climb once you hit that top 5. Like that gap is real. Like these are like the final bosses when you hit the top 5, and it for anybody who have ever played Soul Calibur, if you remember the legendary Souls mode, like this what that top 5 is like. It gets real when you get to the top 5, but. Yeah, awesome performance from Carolina, man. Just beautiful clinch work, great striking, just all around good game, man. It was hard to watch because I thought Felice was gonna win, but nonetheless, really, really impressive from Carolina.
My favorite part about Carolina's game is when she finds something that works, she'll just do it 100 times until it doesn't work anymore. So when she found, like, when she got to the clinch and she landed like one elbow on Herrig, the next time she literally just threw like 15 elbows over the top. So she's a snowball fighter. Like, once she gets going, she gets going. And it's like hard to knock her off knock her off the trail. But like, to her credit, Herrig did a good job. Like she fought well. I don't think she earned like. I don't know how one of the judges gave her the fight, but like just the volume wasn't there. She had her hurt in the 3rd round and decided to go for the double underhook to try to get the takedown, which was dumb. But once Carolina was like it wasn't even just the clinching. Like once the clinching opened up. Her strikes from range, or like at one point she was just outboxing the crap out of Herrig, and like Herrig was having all the trouble in the world just trying to find her. Like towards the beginning of the 3rd and the end of the 2nd round, like you could feel like Kowalkiewicz was just pulling away with it. But she's just a really what you call it, I don't want to say dependable, but like consistent. She's really consistent with what she's going to do, or with her approach to a fight. Like I don't know if this was enough to like jettison her above to leapfrog Andrade. It might be just because she has the win over Rose, but like yeah, I'm not upset about it, especially if she fights like this.
I think that's. Go ahead, Stokes.
Oh, I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh Christ! All right.
Well, I guess.
No, I totally blanked on what I was trying to say.
Felice's corner telling her that she was winning like the stand-up exchanges after like the 2nd round was pretty crazy. After she took like 40 standing and clinch elbows to the face. And I personally want to see Rose and Carolina run it back. So she's my pick for the next title shot. That's about it.
Carolina, you know what Carolina what she kind of reminds me of is she's like a 3-point shooter who once it goes in, it's just going to keep going in. Like, kind of like Anti-Cool mentioned about momentum. Once she figures something out, like once she gets a little confidence going in her striking, it's so hard to stop her because she's always got good awareness as to where she is, so she never gets stuck. She's good in the clinch. She's good at range, and her wrestling is really underrated by a lot of people. So she's kind of like the perfect, well-rounded fighter. Did get a little worried about her getting rocked at the end of that fight. Then again, if you throw as much as she does, you're bound to put yourself in a bad spot once in a while. Other than that, yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good fight. Like, some people were not happy with the fight, but I thought it was perfectly fine.
Really?
Well, I saw a few complaints that it was like too, like, technique-wise, there were complaints about this, that, and the other thing, and typical women's MMA kind of complaints. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I don't necessarily know why you would say it about that fight. I mean, we saw a fight that had some technique-related problems in it, but I like Carolina's just a really likable fighter, I think. Seems cool, you know, seems like she's got she's likable, I think. And she fights really, like, her fights are entertaining, so I don't, you know, I'm happy she won. And Felice, if you hurt somebody and you clinch with them, you stop.
Yeah, I think that's the moral of that fight. Just don't clinch. Dude, find something else.
What was up, Stokes?
Don't do
You gonna
that.
say something?
I was just gonna say, Carolina's the Klay Thompson of MMA. Once that 3 goes in, then
Yeah,
it's not
like,
missing. But
She's like the person who comes off the bench and you sparks that 12-0 run. Like, she's a momentum fighter.
Maybe she's Kyle Korver then. She's coming.
Yeah, that was actually what I was thinking. Kyle Korver.
I want to join in on the basketball comparisons, but every time I think about the NBA, I think about Kawhi Leonard, and it hurts.
I'm sorry. Apologize.
Yeah.
Can't bring up basketball. We can't bring up. We can't do anything on here but talk about fights and dollars.
Fuck Zaza.
At least
Man. I hate Zaza.
Yeah.
I hope the Spurs get the Warriors in the first round, so then fucking they can injure someone on there.
Just go for injuries at this point. Yeah, we can lose. Just go for injuries, man.
This is
elbowing
this
people.
is outrageous. We're advocating violence on athletes among this is.
Do what Carolina did.
Oh my god, this is
They tie up under the post, trying to get the rebound. Just elbow straight to the chin.
This is unfair. Anacle, you're the adult here. Stop this.
Someone needs
Dude,
to
my
go
favorite moment in
underneath
NBA history is the brawl at the Palace.
Oh my god.
Dallas at the Palace.
I wanted to I don't approve of this.
Those fans definitely deserve that.
Those fans deserve that shit.
They deserve that. To the guy who threw that beer, that's on your conscience for the rest of your life. You caused a lot of beatdowns that did not need to happen. That poor gentleman who thought he could stand up with Ben Wallace. And the poor guy who caught the running punch from Jermaine O'Neal.
Oh my god.
That's all on your hands.
Unfair. We do not advocate this. You go to a game, you sit down, you cheer, you don't get in any fracases.
Yeah. Once you throw the beer, man, that's all bets are out the window.
Like,
all bets are out the window.
If it wasn't the Warriors, I wouldn't be saying this, but since it is the Warriors, I'm all for it.
Oh, see, this is unrealistic. Unfair. And Anacle, I'm disappointed you didn't stop this. You're supposed to be the mature.
I mean, are you really surprised though?
You know what? Now that I think about it, perhaps this is accurate.
Oh man. This next fight, not a lot to elaborate because it didn't even last a minute. Olivier Ben-Mercier and Evan Dunham. Evan Dunham started out pretty good, came out guns blazing. He landed a pretty good, I can't remember if it was a right or a left. He tagged him with a pretty good shot, like at the very beginning, giving him pressure. I know everybody talks about the knees, but I didn't notice for the second time I watched it. He caught him with a really good body shot before the knees even happened. And I think that was actually the start of it all. Because he hit Dunham with a left to the body, and it definitely, like, backed him up a little bit. Like, he wasn't quick to be so aggressive anymore. And then right after that, first knee happens, and you can tell Dunham felt it. And then second knee comes, he drops, and that's about it. That's kind of all she wrote. And, Olivier gets, pretty much say that's the biggest win of his career, and he got it via stoppage, which is, can't ask for anything better. So, yeah, not really much to elaborate. It was only a minute long, but great win for Mercier. That's a really big win. You need to do something with that mustache, though. 'Cause I don't think that looks. I don't know if that's for you, man. I'll just. Really, it shouldn't be for anybody, but some people manage to like make it their thing. I don't know if that's for you. I think you should try something else. But, yeah.
Crap. I was gonna say something. Is Olivier? I'm gonna just call him Om because I don't speak French. Is Om now the best Canadian fighter, men's Canadian fighter there is right now, or how?
In the UFC.
In the UFC,
yeah. Yes.
I don't even know if you're probably right, but I also kind of don't want to say that.
It's like him.
Yeah, because I can't.
Chandler Priest,
I feel like I'm missing somebody.
Misha Sukhanov.
As you're saying, I'm like gagging on the concept.
Like Arjan Buller.
Arjan Bular.
Yeah.
Oh man, I cannot wait. He's gonna wear his turban and people are gonna get mad. I'm here for the rage.
Oh boy.
No, he might be.
Maybe.
I mean, do we still think Hakeem Duwaru can be that guy?
I mean, maybe, but he's not that guy now.
Theodoro?
His first fight did not.
No.
This is some real Slim Pickens type shit right now.
The real question is Olivier going to change his name to Canadian Gang? These are the questions that need
Good question.
The Canadian porn star with that mustache.
That stash is just not.
It's not.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe
has he
been sporting
15.
that?
It looks more like a. It does look like a rebellious teenager facial hair, right? Like.
I didn't realize Olivier has had this many fights in the UFC.
He's mostly a prelim guy, so it's like if you're not like hawked in on all the prelims, especially for those Canadian cards, it's easy to forget him.
Well,
and he's normally he's pretty forgettable, but he was great. So.
According to MMA Math, he can't be the best Canadian fighter because he lost to Lepre, but we know how MMA Math works.
Lepre's lost to... What the hell's his name? This 57-year-old Brazilian lightweight. Trinaldo. He lost Trinaldo. Trinaldo lost...
I think this is more about a Canadian MMA.
Ronaldo legit when he was on.
Trinaldo is the oldest guy in MMA.
Him or Romero, probably like.
Yeah, there's no way their birth certificates are lying. Whatever age it says they are, you gotta add like 10.
Poor Yoel Romero.
Romero just keeps himself in, he's in physical enough shape that it's like,
he's
whatever.
The same age as his translator. We just don't know it yet.
But Trinaldo looks every bit of like 58. He's up there. Yeah, pretty big win for Mercier.
How did Mercier beat that? God, I'm trying to work it. I'm trying to MMA math it back to OAM. Go ahead, keep going.
So he beat I feel like his nose other than Dunham, you got Dober.
No, OAM. I'm trying to get a Leprice to OAM connection. I don't know.
I don't know. We dub him. He's Canadian's GOAT right now. And I say Canada. Canada's GOAT in the UFC.
I mean, you have to earn your place at the table. Let's be real.
Okay, let's see.
There you go. This next fight.
This is what they get for turning their back on Rory Mack.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He took his turtleneck elsewhere. He's doing good things with himself. So good job, Roy. They should fight for Canada's. That would be a mauling. Would it be? I
mean, he's a lightweight in a small one at that.
Oh yeah, that is.
McDonald's like a middleweight.
All right, let me not throw him out there. He doesn't need that.
Future heavyweight. What are you talking about?
True.
He is future
heavyweight Bellator champion Grand Prix.
Mm-hmm. Head kick over
a fight between OAM and Zabit would look like trying to think. Like a junior high fight, like
Jesus Christ.
look like a fight over. I don't know who's the hot band these days. Like tickets for that.
It's like a fight that would have like a Paramore concert or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a
The
fight that totally happens outside of.
This is the millennial mosh pit.
Like straight up, OAM just looks like a 15-year-old who got like the juice.
Are you making an allocation there?
No, I'm saying that he has a very young face.
He took the juice and it just gave him the mustache.
It makes me uncomfortable.
So what if we do OAM, Zabit, and Duho Choi as like a crime solver, like teenage crime solvers?
Oh my god.
Like case closed?
Oh boy. All right, these next two fights we can
It
kind
looks
of.
like 30% of kids I went to high school.
Which one?
Oh.
Three. We talking OAM, Choi, or Zabit?
OAM.
I was about to say if you
Oh
got a
yeah,
bunch of
OEM
kids
was
that like
definitely.
Zabit and you-
OEM was like definitely like the junior high.
I definitely knew some kids who had the same all-around hairstyle of Zabit.
I see.
No,
Chest
boy.
captain
I think
OAM
Zabit should keep the
probably
hair.
the new
Actually.
thing we gotta get going.
Go OEM. We'll get him on the show.
Right after Sam Alvey.
And Sage Northcutt and a long list of other celebrity guests. This next fight, Ashley Evans Smith, Beck Rawlings. I didn't rewatch this fight. All I remember is Evan Smith put paws on Beck Rawlings. That's what I remember.
Ashley Evans Smith looked old as crap. And by old, I mean like she was moving through water.
Like somebody like a villain out of Shadow of the Colossus, just real slow.
Oh man,
How did Beck Rawlings think she won that fight, by the way?
I have no idea. Cause from my recollection, yeah, she just kind of ate some hands. And then I posted this on Twitter. Every time you deny the hand tap, you catch the hands. So do the hand tap in the beginning. Because when you deny the hand touch, it comes back.
What about Anti-Cool's favorite fighter, Alex Hernandez? I don't think he touched gloves, right? He just flew right out of him.
Oh no,
All fairness, that wasn't a fake glove touch.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I will say that. Yeah, his was not a fake.
That was just legit. I'm going to come out here and beat your ass.
And kill you. Yeah.
He was motivated by
He
the
was on mission
snub
that
you
day.
gave him.
I mean,
See, I haven't been on since then, so we gotta point that out. You snubbed poor Alex Hernandez. And
I pointed that out.
you
Can't turn that on me.
Oh my god, it was like 30 shows ago.
Oh man, yeah, not much to dissect about the fight. Evan Smith got Beck Rawlings out of here.
Beck Rawlings is now 7-8 and like 2-5 in the UFC.
I don't know. Like, Artem was fine with that record, so.
I mean,
Yeah.
unless Beck Rawlings is secretly dating Conor McGregor.
There's a lot of allegations being thrown around in this bad boy.
I mean, you're the one who said they were about as close as Misha Tate and Brian Caraway.
When did I say that? Hold on, now time out. Hold on. I want to get this. I want to clear this up right now. Matching tattoos does not a couple make.
I'm just saying. I can't remember what we were talking about, but I think the conversation was something like, I said I think Caraway and Tate are a little closer than Lobov and McGregor.
Oh.
And your reply was, I think it's pretty comparable. Besides the obvious.
Well, it is obvious.
I mean,
I
they're
think
not.
that's fair.
I'm
No,
sure
wait.
They're probably closer now.
Yeah, now because Tate and Caraway are no longer an I team. So.
Which the commentators made sure to bring up on that poor guy's last fight.
Caraway should have jumped the cage. I would have jumped.
Oh yeah, they aired out all of his laundry. Jesus Christ! Didn't she get pregnant like right after she left him?
Something like that.
Yeah, well, good for that fella.
Good for regional MMA fighter. Insert name here. Whose name I forget.
Wow. So can we insert any fighter into that insert name here?
Yeah, it's Ivan Cornley or whatever his name
Congratulations, Jose Shorty Torres.
I took that a completely different way.
Hold on, let's go that route.
Oh,
Yoel
yeah, she's
Romero.
never gonna. She's never gonna come on this show.
Yoel Romero?
No, Misha Tate.
Do you think if we told Yoel
Wait.
Romero we were a religious chat, like he would? Did you hear his answer?
When you said insert fighter, when you said insert fighter name here, I thought you meant like so Misha
Yeah,
was getting
like-
randomly like that. Like yeah.
Nice person.
Is that
Cut
what?
it out.
Right, I was like, I don't think does she get down like that?
No,
I don't get that vibe
She's
from
dating some regional MMA fighter. I can't remember his name.
her.
Well, Romero, we just cleared this up.
I mean, Yo Romero's not a regional MMA fighter.
He can be whatever he wants to be.
I mean, that's also true. How did we get on this track?
That was
I have no idea.
Me or Sensei or future defamation cases.
It's gonna be rude. We can't get fighters on the show now because they're gonna realize we're talking about their teammates.
no. She's retired, dude. We talk in
she's
the
probably
highest
cool.
of praise of Yoel Romero. He does no wrong in my
Dude, I
opinion.
put 8 Misha Tate fights on my top 25 women's fights of all time.
Oh yeah, we did.
If
Yeah, we did.
if she can't appreciate that, then she doesn't deserve to be on the show. I'm just saying.
Hold on, wait a minute. You're talking about getting fighters on the show. We got one guy who said, fuck TJ Dillashaw's whole family. And now you want to be concerned about this?
Little did you know that TJ Dillashaw's actually been on the line the whole time.
Good. I hope he hears it.
And now introducing.
Motherfucker.
Well, I'm definitely not.
That's all the
concerned
show,
back on
folks.
this
Oh boy, this last
TJ,
fight.
remember, he lives 20 minutes within where your parents live.
He's on with a dolly though, so you might you might want to be
one.
careful.
We've got some chairs.
Oh yeah, actually, I've been this one, definitely.
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's
So you won by
California, so they're all
decision.
just plastic chairs. So it's like he'll be alright. It's all beach chairs.
Oh man, yeah, she won by unanimous decision. Last fight on the card: Devin Clark, Mike Rodriguez. Mike Rodriguez landed some pretty powerful shots when he was able to, but Devin Clark just kind of kept going for takedowns and just stayed in his face the entire time. They look like a weight class apart. But I don't know if Rodriguez was really big or Clark was just kind of an undersized 205er. Because he kind of looks like he should be a
Clark's
middleweight.
dabbled at middleweight, I believe, right?
He was the middleweight champion, or was he the light heavyweight champion? I can't remember.
Oh wow.
No, he was 205. He should go down to middleweight. He's a pretty small
You know what?
205er. But
You know what? Yeah, I remember Dana White when he went to go because he was looking for the fight guy.
Mm-hmm.
Dana White was like, "Yo, you're fighting at 205, but you're really a middleweight." And like Devin Clark was like, "Yeah," and then he fought at middleweight and lost.
Nicholson, yeah.
Lord.
Wait, was Nicholson at 185 or was it at 205?
185.
All right.
That's the spinning back fist.
Why are we even trying to be accurate with facts right now at this point?
I mean, we are nothing if we try.
Oh my god. I'm
That's
trying to
the-
think of some of the people who we all have mutual followings on Tumblr with, and this is gonna be fun. Some people.
There's somebody on.
We started off
who-
good. We went so far off the
Jody
rails.
Meeks Mill is gonna have all kinds of comments.
I feel like I should point out that there was somebody from SGB Ireland, like the John Kavanagh team, who did follow like me on Tumblr. I can't remember who it is because he used to tell me stories about like Conor McGregor.
Really?
Yeah, nothing crazy. It was just
No,
like,
not like that. Just, I didn't know. Like I don't know. I didn't know that. I think That's interesting. That's
Yeah.
like when what's his name? The highlight of my life when Thiago might have to reblog one of my things or whatever he did. I can't remember.
Yeah. Wait, who was it? Oh, Courtney Casey's stepdaughter.
Courtney Casey. I like Courtney Casey, so we're good
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, her stepdaughter reblogged. I don't think she followed me, but she reblogged the thing like, "Oh, that's my stepmom."
Oh wow, cool.
I was
We're
like,
never gonna get anybody from what is the Brain Training Center or whatever that. Where is it at?
The who?
The former muscle farm. Where does
Alpha Brain.
something like that? Where does TJ?
The Ludwig camp.
Yeah, what is it called? Wasn't it like Rain Training? No, Rain is
That was Muscle Farm.
There we go. We're not getting anybody from there, so no Neil Magny,
Yeah.
no Travis Brown.
Sorry we cut those guys. Nothing against all
I feel
of
like we
you guys.
called Neil Magny an overachiever too much for him to want to come on the show.
I don't think Neil has the grandeur about his athletic ability.
You never know, man. Some of these people they're prideful.
Totally.
And they're out there training every day. And
We're nice too. Well, okay. Well, one of us. Is.
I like Magny.
we do.
No,
do
wait.
too.
No.
I think we do a fair job.
We're not dissing Neil Magny. I'm just saying like that. Anybody who's ever like shook hands with TJ Dillashaw has to be like persona non grata at this point to ever appear on this thing.
We had Shorty Torres on the show.
Well, he's a Chicago guy. They do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
I think we're fair on the show. If you do something bad, we'll call you out. But if you do a good performance, we'll give you your just.
You cannot be a professional athlete and be sensitive. Just a rule of thumb. Can't.
Don't tell them.
Well. No, because then you're gonna get anti-cool started on whether or not fighters are athletes or sports entertainers. We're not
They're
doing
sports
that.
entertainers.
I'm not doing that right now.
Another episode for another day.
Correct.
But oh yeah, did I mention that Devin Clark won? He Devin Clark won unanimous decision. So yeah, that was UFC 220.
I don't think the train in Unbreakable crashed as fast as this thing has.
It took us like 3 hours to get to this point.
Yeah, we're at 3 hours and 2 minutes.
Oh wow! And let's be fair. First off, that's less than the last one I was.
Yeah, that's actually shorter than we went almost.
Yeah, well, let's just be fair. Us falling apart. This whole week has fallen apart, so like it's fitting. We're fitting into the
right. We're following the groundwork that was already.
Everything is Connor's fault, and we're suing him.
It's Connor and whoever the guy with the trench coat with the cord, whoever that mysterious person is. You saw.
I blame Charlie Ward also as well. So.
Is there a reason?
I mean, because Bufando threw him on his face. And and he was also the guy responsible for Connor jumping the cage.
Stokes, do you have anybody you want to blame right now? I think I have an idea, but
no, I'm good.
I see. Okay.
Oh boy. Well, that was UFC 223.
That was UFC past 3 years we just went through.
Oh man.
Did you guys?
All things considered.
Did you guys know Galore Bufando got cut?
Yeah, dude, he was. Let's be fair about poor Sensei wants to wrap this fucking thing up, but.
Hold on, I didn't know he got cut. When
Like
did
a
this
month ago?
Like a month ago. But they found, let's be realistic. He was just there to lose to Charlie Ward. Like, they found him. He had been out of the sport for 2 years. His last fight was a DQ loss. Like, they just wanted somebody to lose to Charlie Ward.
And he couldn't even do that right. So. he did the exact opposite.
Went to business for himself. He KO'd himself, so it wasn't even like Bufando had a chance to do anything.
He cut himself.
Just to be fair, just before we completely lose our shout out to Titan FC for giving a championship belt to Well, what's the name of the high school? I can't remember.
This Stone Mason or
Stone Mason.
Or Mason Douglas.
Stonewall
watching
Douglas,
that card.
Stoneman Douglas.
I'm bad with. I can't remember my own school's freaking name. So, Marjorie Stone Mason Douglas High School.
Okay, yeah, because you know.
Wait, no, that's wrong.
Well, Jesus, it's wrong.
Yes.
This was supposed to be sentimental.
I mean,
Stoneman Douglas, like I had said.
yeah, like you said.
For people who think that might have been a fake gesture, they did a show like right after that happened, and Lex McMahon was like crying in the cage. So I know that that's a legitimate thing he wanted to do. So good for Titan FC.
Mm-hmm.
That was a pretty good card from I caught bits and pieces of it.
And also from Titan FC, the main event. It was Jason Suarez, right?
Yes.
And I can't remember his opponent's name.
Luis Gomez.
So the commentator, the play guy, complained for like the entire second and third round that Gomez was going to the ground with Suarez. Like he was very upset. He's like, he's going to get himself submitted. Like, why doesn't he strike with him? He's beating him on the feet. And then the fourth round, like 10 seconds in, Suarez just cracks Gomez with the right hand. And then takes his back and subs him. And then he was just forced to sit there and shut up.
Who was it? Because normally Kamaru Usman does commentary, but Usman was at the presser.
Oh yeah, was it? Didn't he fight with like Covington or something, or somebody?
It's not a fight unless things are thrown.
It was Joe Ferraro.
Oh, showdown. Yeah.
So
It's remember the old days of MMA backstage fights where it's like
that's a normal thing.
two guys just shouting at one another.
The bar has been raised.
I know.
You gotta throw something.
And you know John
Yeah,
Jones is
you're not
gonna one up it. So now, like the next time he fights, he's like, he's gonna.
He's bringing the car with him.
Oh wait, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute now. John Jones is from my neck of the woods. I will not appreciate that.
I'm not gonna lie. The whole time the Connor thing was happening, I was like, I kind of miss John Jones right now.
Oh, he got on Twitter
really
to put You guys didn't see him and Tyson Griffin?
I haven't heard or seen from Tyson Griffin since
Tyson Griffin apparently
since the Gomi incident.
He said something like Connor's gonna lose his Burger King deal the way that John Jones lost his Nike deal, and John Jones he must be like one of those guys who what is the term that they use for Twitter?
Well, he tagged him. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, okay, he tagged him. I was about to say he must vanity search like a motherfucker because he got in there real quick.
Hey man, don't disrespect the GOAT. Oh man.
I know Michael Chandler does that because God, I want to say it was a boxing match. Like, so one of the guys got hit. Like he got hit and just obviously forgot he was in a fight and started walking to his corner. Like he turned around and everything. I'm like, oh crap, this guy's having a Michael Chandler moment. And Michael Chandler tweets me.
Was it a nasty moment? Was it a nasty little message?
No, I think it was like one of those passive aggressive. Like, yeah, that happened to me. So what?
Oh,
like
well,
he kind of laughed it off a little.
I have a great vanity search story. So this was when Glory was on Spike, and they were really working to figure out like how to like boost themselves up or whatever, like just to get some notoriety. And I was like, Glory has great shows. I'm talking to someone else on Twitter, like great shows. The production values are normally really good. Like this should be a product that has a little bit more steam behind it. And we were just discussing some of the fighters, and I'm like, I really want to like Bazooka Joe Valentini, but I don't know anything about him, and they never tell me anything about him. And fucking he tweeted me, and he was like, well, what do you want to know about me? And I'm like, like you're a great fighter. I wish I knew something about you. So, Bazooka Joe Valentini, good guy.
See, I would ask for a social security number.
Had I been invited on the DTP earlier, I would have been like, come on our podcast, so we can listen to. I'd like Nicole, give it a shot. Joe
Right.
Valentini.
It's weird in the short time I've been on Twitter, I don't put people's name in because I don't want to get yelled at. Twitter is hard for me sometimes because I really have to restrain from posting certain things because I don't want to be one of those guys that goes viral for the wrong reasons.
Anthony,
I try to PG-13 myself.
like 6 months after I tweeted something, Anthony Christian Dulu. Do you remember him?
Oh, the Greek dude.
Yeah, I tweeted something like he's a good like guy to have like to get rounds with.
Mhm.
He's like a worker. He's like enhancement talent. And he tweets me like 6 months later. Damn, I always hated those guys. LOL.
Like speaking of him, like I've heard of him. I can't remember who it was. Who was like, he's not UFC caliber, and he responded nicely and was like, "Look, I worked my way up to the UFC. Can you not say that?" And the dude apologized. So good for him.
See, that's when I would feel bad.
Yeah.
That's why I try not to like get too harsh on people.
You don't want to
Twitter.
get into a.
You realize like I don't want to get into one of those spats. I don't want to do that.
Man.
I don't know. There might be one guy out there I probably wouldn't care. I'm trying to think. Somebody who I wouldn't care about if I got in a spat with.
Connor.
There's at least one person. I just can't think.
Get into it with Connor. That'll make you some.
Nah, he's got enough going on.
I'm trying to think of dudes who
But,
really engage in like arguments with it. Dominic Cruz does it all the time. I don't know.
He seems like he would, and I like Dominic Cruz.
And-
I can see him just being very sarcastic. And
He is, but he's got bad grammar, so it's hard to be like. It kind of blows the fact that he's really intellectual. It like blows the gimmick almost a little bit.
Didn't he like drop out of high school or something?
Probably, but he's like maybe he always comes off as really smart.
Yeah.
And then you'll see a typo and you're like, that's a gimmick buster right there, brother.
Why do I remember like one of the WEC like countdown shows? Like Dominic Cruz was talking about like I got kicked out of my house at 10 years old for partying too much. I remember this vaguely.
I remember that because then the follow-up was like he gave up partying until his fighting career is done. He's like, then I'll do all my partying.
Like, but
Those
like,
are
he was
old.
like he was hella
I mean,
young.
he's got the b-boy moves. He can.
Dominic Cruz would be a part of the teenage detective squad that we're working on here because he looks way younger than he.
Has he ever had facial hair?
He's got like scruff, no?
Has he?
Could you imagine Doo-Ho Choi with that OAM mustache?
Oh Lord, that would be terrifying. Yeah, that's not a guy I would want to fight. That is not a guy I would want to fight. You couldn't really focus. Like,
Trying to think.
I think I would just try to punch the mustache because it would be distracting me, and I would just want to get like I want to punch it off. Oh, boy.
That reminds me of, I guess, the last story we'll tell. I was at like an amateur boxing fight, and one of the dude had stretch marks, and the other corner's entire advice was aim for the stretch marks, which is right up there with Derek Noble's "You're losing to a man with titties."
Oh man, I can't wait to go to this fight next week. I hope my seats are good enough that I can hear corner, man. Because that's like my favorite thing about combat sports is just listening to corner advice. Because it's either really good or it's godright terrible. But I love
Stoges,
it.
what's the last card you went to? Because I know you're very frequently at events.
What was the last card? It was either that. What was the last Sacramento card? Oh, Page and Waterson.
Oh, okay.
We should all go to a Brent Primus card.
Why? What's the issue there?
Talking about people who will never be on the DTP.
We have forgotten who Brent Primus was about 40 times on this
It
podcast,
happens once a week.
Yeah. We never remember that he's champ. We never.
Like, I'm sure.
To our credit, he hasn't defended his belt yet.
To our credit, he probably forgets himself sometimes.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. He's still searching for validation over the channel.
Like his tweet after like Jen was like, I didn't I don't feel like I lost because I think he went on like the MMA hour and like talked about the loss. Like he tweeted Michael Chandler. It's like, come on, guy, you know you lost. It wasn't like, come on, like I beat your ass. It's like, come on, like I need this.
To be fair, judging by the buy rate of that event, I don't think anybody knows that Michael Chandler lost.
Exactly, he's still the champion.
Oh,
if you lose
God.
the belt and no one's
Sorry.
around to see it, like, did you really lose?
All right. Sorry, Brent. It's not personal.
I never said
Probably
a damn
not.
thing about Brent Primus. I'm not in on this one. All right.
He's probably a nice guy.
We rarely ever say a damn thing about Brent Primus because we forget about
Right.
it.
Technically,
But
I think this is the biggest support.
I mean, at least we're talking about you. Like,
Right. I want to see him fight
Yeah.
again. But it's just I haven't seen you in so long that I kind of forget you were ever there.
man, I defended him getting the title shot on pay-per-view.
Is this like when you're going through old family photos and you're like, oh shit, I forgot about cousin. Cousin Smash.
He showed up at that one cookout that one time.
And you remember what he did, and you're like, oh yeah, that's why he didn't show up to any.
That sums up Brent Primus' career.
Oh my god.
Oh boy, we're never gonna get any sponsors.
I was gonna
anything.
make a fucked up joke.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that.
Oh,
I'm just
man.
saying he
But,
lost to Garstone Santos. So, I'm going to throw that out there.
God. Brent Primus, you're number one in my book, buddy.
In Bellator.
No. Now I got to make up the rest of you. He's number one lightweight. Khabib, no problem.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
So next week.
Unfair.
I'm down. Hey man, he got that leg kick of death. I don't know what he might not have an answer for that, man.
How long have we been doing this podcast currently?
We're at 3 hours and 16
60
minutes.
minutes. Nobody remembered that we forgot to mention that Brock came back.
That's another thing. I get it's wrestle. Like I get you got this big news and like whatever, but like why would you? Oh God.
What's up?
No, I got ESPN on the background and like one of these like I don't even know what this is. F1.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the pit crew got caught up in the tire.
Oh Jesus!
Jesus
It just
Christ.
got launched.
Why are you?
Oh my God.
I'm assuming he's fine.
Oh, okay, what an assumption to make. He just got launched from a tire. He's okay.
Sure, he's fine.
We better not find out he died
I mean,
tomorrow.
if so, it's on them for pairing it.
Oh my god.
Oh
So,
man.
I forgot what I was saying.
we're gonna talk about.
Why are they bringing Brock back and Brock's just gonna fail his drug
Did
test?
you see DC respond to the news that Brock might fight for the title?
Yeah,
The
hilarious.
happiest man of all time.
I mean, I would be too if I was DC.
No,
It's a paycheck.
I'd watch DC versus Brock. Fuck.
I mean, I watch Brock first anybody.
DC. Okay, what about
It's-
Brock
it's-
versus
it-
Brent Primus? Is that coming next?
I mean, Brett Primus stands a good chance of beating Brock.
Brock don't want none of that smoke. He don't want any of those problems. Primus via leg kick.
What about Brock against all the flyweights at once?
I think Khabib beats him.
Oh,
I'd take Khabib over Brock Lesnar.
So if Khabib beats, oh, watch this. So Khabib beats Brock, but you think Eddie Alvarez beats Khabib?
I didn't say I think he beat. I think I said that's a tough
I'm
fight
pretty
for
sure.
him.
I'm pretty sure that was said. I think that was said. So if he beats, if okay, so we're working through this. Khabib beats Brock, and Alvarez, according to the Anti-Cole, beats Khabib, and that means McGregor's the best fighter of all time because he beat Alvarez. So there we go.
No, that means Nate Diaz is the
McGregor
greatest fighter of
can't.
all time.
No, because he beat Nate Diaz.
No,
But none of them can beat Primus.
but
So what are we?
Nate Diaz. I'm just saying Nate Diaz finished McGregor, so his
Oh, but
win
that
means
doesn't mean
more.
anything.
It means
No,
way
it doesn't.
more.
It does not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brent
He
Primus.
made McGregor quit.
Primus
I'm with
finished Chandler, who finished Alvarez. I can't connect my
So
dots.
Glory
right here.
Stone
I'm on.
Santos is the best,
Garson
But
is the best lightweight and featherweight on the planet.
but then Santos lost to. I think Santos lost to a bunch of people. So man, we might need to have a battle royal over this.
100-man
See,
battle royal.
We should have. They should have had an MMA March Madness. This should have been a thing.
It
I
would
would-
have never ended.
Could have squared this.
But
all
hold
off.
on, no, because if it goes back to Nate Diaz, then Nate Diaz lost to Josh Thompson, who lost to Tony Ferguson. So clearly,
Michael Johnson, who
But who
lost
lost-
to Darren Elkins. So Darren Elkins is the best.
Darren Elkins is the GOAT.
Hold on, Darren Elkins lost to Jeremy Stevens.
That's not a real fight.
Okay, I
I don't,
understand.
I don't remember it, so it didn't happen. So Darren Elkins is the best fighter of all time.
Okay, you know what? Well, what about Elkins lost to Oliveira,
I mean, over then McWade.
who lost
cheated.
to? That sounds like an assumption. First and foremost.
He cheated.
I'm assuming because he did it like 20 times.
Okay, this was his debut. He was different then.
Wait, wasn't that Nick Lentz?
Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking Google this. Talk amongst yourself, lads.
Brent Primus is the GOAT.
It's not coming out.
So next week we got UFC on Fox 29, Poirier and Gaethje. So I'm gonna miss this card because I'm gonna be at my fight. So I'm gonna have to watch this somehow all Sunday morning.
Elkins lost to Chad Mendes. Chad Mendes, best fighter of all time.
I like that. I like Mendes.
But then McGregor beat Mendes, so we're back to McGregor again.
Then we're back to Joe Duffy.
Then we're back to James Vick. You want to talk about James Vick?
Who lost to Benil Dariush? It never ends.
Who lost to
Alexander
Hernandez.
Who did Alexander Hernandez lose to? Because I know he has a loss.
I don't know, but you took the L to him, so you need to.
So we got Poirier versus Gaethje next week. I'll figure out somehow the recording schedule. I'm this, to be honest, is this a Fox card?
Chandler.
It is a Fox card. This might be one of those. I might just watch the main card and depend on everybody else to give me the prelims. Cause I'm literally gonna miss this entire card.
Yeah.
Jamal Emmers, by the way.
The true GOAT.
Oh.
But that card's next week.
No, I was gonna say we also have Bellett's, like Stokes said, with the Chandler fight next week.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Speaking of
AJ McKee.
GOAT contenders, we got Chandler and Gertz next week. Who's McKee fighting?
You got Baby Slice.
If I can get this. Okay, McKee and Justin Lawrence. Yeah, Baby Slice and Devin Brock. Oh, Logan Storley's back. Looking forward to that. So that'll be going down next week.
Alaskan Fighting Championship is I think next week as well.
Oh, they're on Fight Pass. I keep forgetting to go back and just.
Oh,
look
it's
at
an
all the
experience.
cards. I know. I need this in my life. So that's going down. Point being, there'll be plenty of content coming. So real quick before we get out of here, parting shots and shout outs. I didn't write any down, so I'm just gonna reiterate one from earlier. Oh Lord, I lost the page. Shogun Fights, Baltimore, April 14th, War Farms Arena, downtown. Shogun Fight, no XV111. If you're in the Baltimore area, go to shogunfights.com, get your tickets. I will be there supporting my homie Scott Noble, who will be fighting. It's gonna be an awesome time. And shout outs to once again, we mentioned earlier. I'm gonna give a shout out to Bendo for getting his win over Roger Huerta. I was just happy to see Bendo win again. It made me smile. I was really happy. So shout out to Bendo for getting that guillotine.
That's Shogun Fights 18.
No, it's XZ11. Right?
I thought it was V.
No,
XV11.
No, V.
XV or Z?
Yeah, we need
V.
to know.
V.
No.
Like
Okay.
Vic.
Okay.
It's
17.
18.
18.
We can't even
I
tell
don't-
what the. Oh my god.
Dude, you know,
Oh yeah, X is 10. Why didn't I?
X is 10, V is 5.
Shogun Fights Megas XLR.
That's all I got. And thank you guys. Especially shout outs to Stoves for waking up at that ungodly time in the
I
morning.
mean, now it's
We
10 o'clock. You
appreciate
should be wide awake.
Oh my god.
But that's all I got.
I got two. So, not so much a shout out, but rest in peace to Papa McGregor. Not Papa McGregor. Fuck. Pop Edgar. There we go. And for those that know, Frankie Edgar's father passed away in the past week, or past
Yeah.
2 weeks. Yeah, so rest in peace to him. And also rest in peace to who is it? Aizawa Takahata, Ghibli, the co-founder, alongside Takemi's Miyamoto. Hello.
Yep.
They were still here.
Yep.
Director of Grave of the Fireflies, Princess Kaguya. He passed away this past week. Terrible loss for animation, film in general. And that's all I got.
I guess I should start off by making some apologies, I guess.
Man, you gotta stand behind your words.
I woke up at 6 a.m. this morning. I wasn't thinking right, you know. I don't know what happened, I guess.
Oh, I see.
I just want to take this time. I have the time to apologize to the Dillashaw family for absolutely nothing because the double champ doesn't let fuck the double champ won.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'm gonna have some gunshots in the post production. Shots fired. I need the sound of that dolly effect hitting the window.
Shout out. Yeah, that's it for me.
Dillashaw family, you're on notice.
Oh. Oh, do I have to do one too?
Yeah, if you got anybody.
I was like, oh man, that was so touching. I don't even know what to say. I feel like this week, this podcast, all of this sums up MMA so well that I don't have anything to, you know. I guess shout out to Titan FC for doing a nice thing. Shout out to Yoel Romero for apparently knocking up Misha Tate, according to the Anti-Cool.
You should not have to look up this man's name because you're gonna slander me.
No, you know what? This was fun. This was good fun. I think MMA is the best community at laughing at itself. It's also the most rational one, so I think this week was perfect. And thanks for listening. I should say that because this is like 3 hours. And the last hour, I don't think has had anything of substance. It's been like cotton candy. it's like MMA cotton candy. You're not getting any you're just getting calories. That's all you get.
It was Johnny Nunes.
Dude, Johnny Nunes fought in the UFC, no?
He fought tough.
Oh, twice. Good for him. Good, seriously good for him.
Shout out to Johnny.
Shout out to Johnny Nunes. Watch out for you. You never know. You never know when the SOG is gonna come and take your woman to a Bible verse. Can I recommend something?
Please.
Please?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Well, sure. If you're into, like, since we're talking about Bible verses and whatnot, if you're into, like, occult-related matters, follow me. Don't panic yet. A&E did a tremendous documentary. Hold on. Follow me. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. A&E did a tremendous... Stop it. A&E did a tremendous documentary on the women of Jonestown, the people behind Jim Jones. I absolutely recommend it. I do warn you, if you want to watch it, it's a little graphic. Obviously, any subject where a bunch of people die is graphic, but they've got some footage and some audio that's a little rough, but it's really insightful. And if you want to know a little bit more about Jonestown, that was like great. That's like great matters. So I'd recommend it, absolutely. It's not really a cult either. It's Christian, cult, basically. What's up?
Like you said, for anybody who likes like the cult stuff, like follow me. And I thought you were about to go like Jim Jones on us.
No, I could hear somebody from California snickering, so I had to jump in there like, wait, listen to me.
This is the most well-rounded podcast you guys are ever going to listen to. If nothing else.
Shout out to First Match on Netflix too. Amazing fucking movie.
What movie?
First Match on Netflix.
I've heard of that. I have not.
About it.
Oh, right,
Really
right.
good movie.
Crap. Forgot his name on here. First match. It's a
Oh.
it's a movie about a girl picking up wrestling in high school.
Oh no, I did. I've seen you. I thought he said something else.
Yeah, shouts to James for showing me that.
I was about to say that doesn't sound like something the anti-cool would support.
What?
First snatch.
Uh,
It's like, well, maybe he's got a sub. He's got a sub account I don't know about.
Oh man, I don't even know how to close this out.
Anti-cool, do you want to plug anything to get you off the to get you
I feel like I left off on like a strong point. I don't know about y'all, but
I don't know what I left off on. I'm lost.
Essentially, you tend to have good taste in things, so you want.
shouts to WrestleMania. There we go.
Sure. That reminds me, I got to work soon. Perfect.
No Lord. All right, let's get you out of here so you don't get
No, I
don't want
I've
this
got
to be the
till
reason
5
of your
if you wanna keep
termination.
talking about.
I was gonna say if this was the reason of your termination, I would. I wouldn't.
I got till 5 until Johnny Nunez. 5 hours of Johnny Nunez talk, baby. The weird thing is he's actually a really good fighter, so I don't want to hear any banter.
All I'm saying is pro wrestling is the real sport. MMA is fake and scripted.
Nice. So what is this? Well, I guess I'll ask you afterwards about this Travis Brown thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For anybody who cares, Alicia Fox and Travis Brown got into a verbal altercation last night after the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony. I don't know what it's about, but I can't remember which one, but one of the Bella twins had to come over and try to calm her down. So if that's any indication, Ronda Rousey's WWE career, it's going to be Carney. It's going to be Carney.
Well, it fits.
One for the ages.
MMA career, pro wrestling career. It's a you don't see Romero playing around with this.
Can I say one last thing?
We're gonna say Stoke.
Oh,
yeah, what's up?
Go ahead.
To that one listener in to that one listener in Egypt, write into us because I want to know who you are and how you found out about the podcast.
Yeah, shout out to Cairo, Egypt. You guys have been holding it down.
Oh, we're
there.
gonna do the thing where you list off a bunch of places. We're gonna.
Well, I don't have it in front of me, but I know they've been consistently at the top. Like, so somebody in Cairo, Egypt is hitting that play button. Like,
I'm just saying.
So,
UFC Egypt, it's happening.
Stop
I'm down.
before it does.
They're gonna set the octagon right at the bottom of like the Giza pyramid.
Yeah, that'll be so fire.
that camera view would be awesome. You can't top
SFL in Egypt.
Dude, no.
We can't have people dying at the foot of the pyramid.
Did you hear about?
Shout out to Cairo.
Oh my God, who is the SFL dude? There was a controversy, another one recently, where they like told some dude to like stop his weight cut because he wasn't gonna fight. Right? You know what I'm talking about?
That was a guy from Team Alpha Male.
From Alpha Male, yeah.
I gave him a shout out. Like, yeah, garbage.
Jesus Christ. But this has been an episode, a very long. Hope you guys were entertained. I think you got a little good, good content
Long
out
and
of this.
strong, just the way y'all like it.
You know, there you go. We're gonna end it on that note. This has been another episode of the Dojo Talk Podcast. As always, anytime people are being punched and or kicked in the face, we will be there to talk about it. And hopefully we'll catch you guys soon. Peace.